Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
Have you heard about all of the different ways you can shop with Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? You can either shop on our websites sewingstreet.com and yarnlane.com. You can also order by phone by calling our friendly UK customer service team. For Sewing Street, call 0800 001 4433 and for Yarn Lane, call 0800 4700 600. And don't forget about the Sewing Street app. Here you can shop all of the Sewing Street products as well as watch the live shows from anywhere. You can download the app onto your smartphone or your tablet by simply searching Sewing Street in your app store. And one final thing, no matter how many times you check out on Sewing Street or Yarn Lane in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. Happy shopping!
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters. So you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
Good morning and welcome to Sewing Street on this second day of autumn. Love autumn. It's actually my favourite season, so really excited. Time to change your wreaths over. Talking of wreaths, we have Sam on Yarn Lane today with the autumn wreath on the second day of autumn. How exciting is that? Just gone on pre-order. Anyway, we'll be talking about that in a bit. But we've got Sewing Street all morning, 8 till 12. Got fantastic guests today. We've got Adam, the famous Adam from the Sewing Bee, who's going to be showing some gorgeous dresses. One of them's behind me. Look at this. Look at this. I really want this. But I had a long chat with him all about how to shorten it because I would need it a bit shorter and how it would look really nice with a long sleeve top. So quite fancy making that. Anyway, before we get onto that, let's do the early bird. It's rainbows. How exciting. Oh, I like this. This is massive. Now, don't know what the price is. No idea because we're having a special price crash. Which Hannah wouldn't tell me what the price was. So normally this is £19.99. Look at the size of it. Big panel. It's totally exclusive to Sewing Street. It's 140 centimetres wide and 100 centimetres long. So it's got all of the colours of the rainbow starting at red. And what's lovely is they graduate. So you've got red and then a reddy orange, then orange, and it moves through very gradually. All the way down. Look at that. All the way down to there. So that is £19.99 for a full design roll. So you can cut, all of the strips measure 2.5 inches. So if you want them as 2.5 inch strips because you're going to use them as a design roll, just cut either side of the white line and then you can join them together or do whatever you want with them. But brilliant, because it's joined together. If you wanted to cut them that way, maybe you want to bind the edge of a quilt or something with a lovely colour change, you can cut them that way and then you've got them all. So, what's the price crash today, Hannah? Oh, I can barely contain my excitement. Come on, it's like the X Factor results. $14.99. Wow. So at midnight, that's going to go back up to $19.99. So between now and midnight, $14.99 for a whole design roll. It's got all little spots in sort of contrasting tones. So it just gives it a bit of texture. Look at that. Whoa. So everything in this first hour between now and 9 o'clock is below £15, including the design roll. $14.99. Isn't it gorgeous? Gorgeous. Isn't that amazing? It's lovely, isn't it? I feel like you could sort of make a skirt with this. Fantastic. So what's lovely about it is that, as I said, you can cut it, along the lines either side, and that's your 2.5-inch strips, but you can use it as a whole piece of fabric. So maybe you're thinking, I'd like to make a tote bag or want to make a big weekend bag. You can use it as a whole panel. If you were making like a weekend away big sort of holdall, you could cut out all your pieces from this. So you could think, right, well, I'm going to have the back of the bag in the purples, the front in the reds. So, you don't have to cut it up, although we've called it the Jelly Roll Fabric Panel. You don't have to do that. You can use it as a whole piece of fabric on its own. So $14.99. But remember, that price does go back up again to $19.99 at midnight. So please get it in your basket and check out while you can. Now, please do check out. So everything in this first hour will be under £15. Now, if you haven't shopped with us before, I'll just go through a few details. So the easiest way to shop is go onto the website www.sewingstreet.com, and then if you click on Watch Live, which is at the top, there it is, sort of top middle, next to the right of TV Guide. Then if you scroll down, everything that is on sale today is below that. It's an easier way to find it. Now what Hannah has done is she has preloaded everything on there that we're going to be showing today. So we've got all the deals. So that's all the things that we've done. Oh look, the 570's just gone. The 570A has already gone in, because it only came into stock a couple of days ago. So, and I know that lots of you have been, loads and loads of you have been trying to get it. Brilliant machine. I'm going to be using it today in my hour at 10 o'clock. It's really lovely, easy, simple, lovely machine to use. That's on there. So if you then scroll down, if you click on pre-order, which is on the right of that, that shows you everything that we haven't shown you yet. But if you want to get ahead, you know what it's like on Sewing Street. We put new items on, they sell out. And so if you want to get ahead with everything, I'll go through the menu in a minute and show you what we're going to be selling. So if you want to get ahead with Adam's patterns and fabric that he's going to be making, and the overlock he's going to show how to use, it's all on there. Important Snowman. The important Snowman. So there's the Snowman family who are going to be on at 10 o'clock with me. That's me. And if you want to get ahead and buy that, that's on there. All of the fabrics and the patterns, so everything that we're showing. So today, sorry, I've just dropped. Hang on. I'm back. Dropped my water on my feet. So coming up today on Sewing Street, we have got 8 o'clock is now bundles under £15. So loads and loads of different fabrics, all under £15. Fantastic. Really lovely choice for you there. 9 o'clock, we've got the wonderful Adam Brooks on, who is a complete expert. You are going to learn loads from him. He is going to be showing us the Sussex Seamstress Petworth dress, which is this one. Beautiful. It's a lovely viscose fabric, and we've got a whole choice of different fabrics, but the pattern is really nice. It's got this really flattering gathering that's shaped at the front, and he's going to show us how to put the bias binding on, how to set the sleeves. And importantly, he's using shearing elastic in the sleeves, so he's going to show you how do you thread up shearing elastic and how to use it in a machine, because I know it's something a lot of people think, that sounds really hard, but he's going to show you the easy way to do it. At 10 o'clock, I'm going to be on with Amber Makes and the Snowman family kit. So anyone who has received a Snowman Christmas badge, I've designed the snowman based on the Snowman Christmas badge. He complements it, but I couldn't just have one snowman. We've got a whole family. And when you buy the kit, the Christmas snowman badge comes in the kit because he matches the snowman. Anyway, we'll talk more about that at 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, Adam will be back with us with the Amberley dress, another Sussex Seamstress dress. That was the one that I showed you first thing that was behind me, the denim one. That's lovely, really like that. That's Adam's sister, who very patiently modelled it for him. And I think that's what I was saying to you earlier. Doesn't it work well? You can wear it as a summer dress, but doesn't it work well with a long sleeve top underneath? That's your season change dress, isn't it? You know, when it's too hot, it's too cold. But with that, you could put a t-shirt, you could put a long sleeve top, you could put a cardigan on top. And I like the way that the gathers are all just under the bust, very flattering because it's not sitting on the waist. I'm not sure about a gathered waist, but that's a really nice dress. That's 11 o'clock. And then at 12 o'clock today, we have Yarn Lane and we have the wonderful Sam Sabido with us today. She has been over the past year giving us a new crocheted wreath every month. And this is the final one, the autumn wreath. So if you've been collecting them, please join us at 12 o'clock. You can go onto yarnlane.com and get your wreath if you want to get ahead with it. But we'll also be doing a special bundle of all 4 wreaths as well. So if you love crochet or want to love crochet, please join us in Yarn Lane at 12 o'clock. Anyway, this hour, we've got so much fabric and it's all under £15. Oh, we do have, just before the break, we are going to have the Moda Lucky Dip roll coming up. I'm going to bring those to you just before the break at 9 o'clock. So watch this space. The scrap bag will be with you in just under an hour. But I will open this up then because I've got to go through all the other fabric first. So I'll just put that to one side. So let's start off with this because it's the second day of autumn. This is a brand new bundle. Now this fabric's only been on air once before with me, actually. I did it. It's lovely. I like this. And I couldn't decide which one I liked the best. So should we have a look? Let me see. So I'm going to show these fabrics are exactly the same, just with different coloured backgrounds. I love this one. It's got these beautiful, deep, rich autumn leaves. But when you look amongst it, it's got blackberries, which is great because it teams really well with purple. I love it when fabric puts a slightly different colour in, because then when you come to put a contrast or a plain with it, you know which colours to use because that purple really pops on it. You've got fir cones, acorns, leaves, berries. So that one has got a very sort of pale silvery grey background, kind of the colour of an autumn sky really on a nice day. And then the other one in the bundle, £13.98 for the 2.5 metres. You've got this one and it's got a beautiful deep earthy brown background. But don't they look different? Suddenly the blackberries stand out more, the acorns not as much, but you can see the sycamore leaves. So those two fabrics go together really well. If you wanted to make an autumnal make, you know, even if it's just a couple of cushions or a new bag, nice little tote bag or a makeup person would be really nice in that. Or maybe, you know, you're making jam pot covers would look lovely, wouldn't it? Or a little gift bag to put them in. Be fantastic. So brand new bundle today, £13.98 for 2.5 metres. Under £15. As I promised, it's my under £15 sale day today. So if you want autumn, I love that one. This one. Oh no, that one all the way over there. Hang on a minute. Yes, so Hannah put them in order, but then but she put them in order for somebody with very long arms. Love, oh, now that's a nice, that's nice, isn't it? I like that choice. So look, let's look at this one. This is gorgeous. These are both designer fabrics. I love this one because I don't know whether you can see on your screen, but there's metallic in here. So the centres of the sunflowers have got little dots of metallic in them. And we've got pumpkins and sunflowers. Now, this is the last of this fabric. So when it's gone, it's gone. So you get a ½ metre of this gorgeous pumpkins and sunflowers, and it's not brown, it's a very deep aubergine background, which really makes the flowers and the leaves pop. And complementary to go with that is, well, it's not a plainer fabric, but it's that rich aubergine background, but in a mottled effect with leaves, but it's got metallic. Exactly the same collection, so there is a point, they do really go together. But look at the metallic spots all over it. And then if we have a look at them together, you can see, we'll put them like that, and then you can really see. Now, there are single figures of this bundle left. It is gorgeous, isn't it? Look at them together. So if you're thinking about making something autumny, and you want that, not a plain, but as a more solid contrast with it, that goes together beautifully because it's from the same fabric collection, so you know the colours have been designed together. And they both feature this beautiful metallic overprint on top of them. £13.99. Now, there are more people that have this in baskets that are available. So, if you've not shopped with us before, there's one P&P per day, £13.3. Gosh, that'd be quite expensive. It's not that at all. Just rewind. We're just going back. Right, postage, £3.95 per day. Now, it doesn't matter how many times you check out. So if you check out, because once it's in your basket, it's not yours until you've actually checked out. But you can check out 300 times or once. However many times that you want between now and midnight, and you will still only be charged the £3.95 P&P. So it is worth, if you've got it in your basket and you want it, please do check out, because if someone else comes along, they'll put it in their basket, check out, and then they've had it. Let's do pumpkins next. Again, a new fabric. I had this one on air the other day, and I love this one. Ooh. Oh. This one has got 3 fabrics, so you've got these 2 contrast fabrics, which I'll show you in a minute. But you've got this gorgeous, gorgeous pumpkin and squash fabric. So you get 3 ½ meters. 3 ½ meters for £13.97. There's loads of you. You've obviously been scrolling through this morning, and I've put this 3 ½ meters. I love this. I have to put my glasses and have a closer look at it. It's lovely. I mean, it's very autumnal, isn't it? We did actually, it was Friday when we had this for our Halloween day, but it's not Halloweeny. It's very, very autumnal. It's got autumn leaves and pine cones and berries. It's in the same fabric range as the one that I showed you before with the leaves, and because it's got the same sort of berries. But isn't it beautiful, vibrant colours? Now, Hannah's chosen some very lovely colours to go with this. So these are our plain fabrics, beautiful quality, 100% cotton, rose and hubble fabric, exactly the same weight as the pumpkin print. So she's chosen this gorgeous green, very, very olivey green. And when you look at that, doesn't it really pick out the green of these squashes? So not only that, we've got like a kind of, it's not mustard, it's pumpkin gold. Don't know what it's called. Pumpkin gold, it should be called. Pumpkin gold, because it is that beautiful. I mean, they are, even if you're not going to use all 3 of them together, they are lovely seasonal fabrics. This is a beautiful, beautiful soft tone. It's not as deep as your normal mustard, a little bit lighter than that, but doesn't it go together beautifully with the pumpkin fabric? So, look at it's amazing actually when you look at the difference, what colours pop out. So this sort of makes the colour is seed, but this makes all the yellows pop out. Anyway, £13.97 for all 3, 1.5 metres of fabric, 1 print and 2 plains. And Hannah has picked them specially so that you know that they'll go together. Right, let me just pop them back. Oh, Liberty. Did you say Liberty? We've got a Liberty bundle. This one. This one. Oh, I like these. So we've got 2 Liberties in this bundle. Let's have a look. Oh, from the Bloom. This one is called Bloomsbury Blossom. It's a really tiny ditzy print. It's a really fresh, like a French blue with lots of tiny red and white and pink flowers on it. Actually, from a distance, it just looks quite spotty, but when you get in really close, you can see it's just the really iconic Liberty flowers. That's lovely, isn't it? Now you can see, can't you, that all the tiny little flowers on it. It's just exactly what you think of as Liberty. So for £14.98, you're getting 2.5 meters of Liberty. Now this is quilting weight cotton. I know traditionally Liberty is a Tana lawn, but this is your proper quilting weight cotton, but from the Liberty collection. So it's lovely. I mean, I think, you know, when I first started sewing with Liberty, you couldn't get the quilted weight cotton. So you had to sort of mix and match a bit of Tana lawn in your quilts with normal cotton. But this is quilted weight cotton, but with a Liberty print. Now, the other 1/2 metre in the bundle, exactly the same print, but with a red background. I'm going to put them next to each other so you can see. Look how well they go together. So, I mean, they work obviously beautifully on their own, but they make a really nice complementary pair as well. So if you love Liberty fabric, you've got a little project in mind, you think, oh, I'd like a little bit of Liberty with that, then this is for you. But, you know, if you were making things like children's dolls' clothes, be perfect for that because it's that tiny print. Or if you like miniature quilting, if you're making, a lot of people love making tiny quilt blocks or EPP or applique, you want this small print for that kind of thing because it's all over as well and completely multi-directional. It makes things piecing and joining together, particularly if you're doing small pieces of patchwork, like if you're doing pinwheels or half square triangles and you don't want to be thinking about, if you're doing the whole sort of cutting and sewing, you don't want to do all the fabric matching and thinking about direction of fabrics. It's perfect for that. So I'll put those back in. Nice, like that one, £14.98. Oh yeah, let's go for a 3. Yes, we've got another bundle of 3, and this one's got Cafe in it. This one, but oh, brand new. But oh, now I like the complementary fabrics on that. So 1.5 meters for £14.47. There are so many people that, oh, this is beautiful. Look at the colours in that. Actually, that must have been really hard to choose. Half of the stock of this has gone on pre-order. Remember, I've got it folded up. That is what you get, 1/2 metre. Look at the swirls of movement in that. That Cafe, he's a right genius, isn't he? That is colour. I'd love to be able to do that. If I did that, it would look a bit like a dog's dinner, to be honest. But it looks amazing, doesn't it? So you've got these beautiful swirls of colour. And then in the same bundle, oh, now that's a nice colour. We've got 1/2 metre of the plain. Look at the colour matching in that. Wonder what's that one called? Is it teal or petrol? It's like a deep teal colour. So we've got 1/2 metre of that one. And then we've got 1/2 metre of this gorgeous, like appley green, but they go together really well. Let me put that one there, and then you can really see how well they go. Now, so many of you have checked out on this. We've only got 6 left. But when you look at this, look at the pink and the purple that's in here as well. So with this fabric, you could easily match pink and purple as well. I mean, you've got so many colours in there. In fact, I think for a K fabric, this is quite restrained. He's only got about 6 colours in it. Could have had another 26, but isn't that gorgeous? So 1/2 metre of the deep jade, 1/2 metre of appley green, and then 1/2 metre of this gorgeous Baltic and lime, it's called. Oh, and this, what a great name, is called Electric Oil Spill. I thought it looked watery. I guess, yeah, because it's quite jaggedy. Electric Oil Spill. That's brilliant, isn't it? Hannah calls it Sands of Time, but it's not called that. It's called Electric Oil Spill. I love Electric Oil Spill. Yeah, Hannah wants to get a job naming fabrics. Yeah, because Sands of Time. No, it's Electric Oil Spill. Right, what should we have next? Right, we've got a lot of you wanting that one, so please do check out on that one. Japanese inspired. Right. This one? Oh yes, that one. Sorry. We should have numbered them, shouldn't we? We've got number 5, number 5. Hannah tries to describe them and I have no idea what she's talking about. She said birds. I don't know what she was saying. Oh, we've got 2 half meters. These are nice. These are nice, aren't they? What are these? Are they herons? Storks. Right, I'm going to turn it around the right way. Aren't they gorgeous? So again, look, I don't know whether you can see on your screen, but this has got metallic. So it's got a lovely sort of biscuity beige background. Really traditional Japanese floral print with the storks. I can't remember what they're called. Those Japanese birds. And then the legs and the wings and then this extra print are all in metallic. So this has got a beautiful shimmer to it. Really lovely. You can see it if I move it a bit, look. Slight shimmer. Half a metre of that one. I'm going to get some history now. A Japanese stork is believed to represent prosperity and longevity. So if you buy this fabric, you will be rich and live for a very long time. But that, terms and conditions do apply. Can't guarantee that, but that's what the Japanese say. Let's go. I'm going with that. And then you get half a metre of this one. Look at that. Now you can really see the metallic, especially when I give it a little whoosh. Look at the metallic in that. It's beautiful, isn't it? So the background is lovely. It's a real mottled sort of deep chocolate brown with like dark chocolate and milk chocolate all in the background. And then you've got these beautiful, very traditional hexagons and the flowers all outlined and embellished with the metallic gold, which is printed as an overlay on top of the other print. That's beautiful, isn't it? So this bundle, £13.98, 2 half metres, beautiful Japanese fabric. Love that. And it even says made in Japan, so it must be very, if you've ever bought Japanese fabric, you will know it is beautiful quality, beautiful quality. Right, put that one back in the bag. What should we have next then, Hannah? Oh, can we have that sewing machine one? Got my eye on that. I'm allowed to have this one. Oh, this is a brand new bundle. Oh, do you know what? I've not seen this before. Look at this. Oh, I just have a thing about any fabric that's got sewing machines or sewing notions printed on it. Isn't it gorgeous? I watched the Repair Shop the other day. Did you watch I love the Repair Shop. I always would love to have a job on that. Wouldn't it be great? Going, yes, I restore vintage teddy bears. Always would like to do that. Anyway, they had a sewing machine really similar to this one that they restored. I've never seen one like it. It was more curly. And it was amazing, beautiful job they did. So you've got prints of sewing machines. Actually, you can see that one better on there. And then you've got lines of buttons. And look at this row here. It's all those sort of vintage mannequins. And what's great about it, I'll show you what the whole half metre looks like. It works really well as a print on its own. So say you were going to make a sewing machine cover. You could join bits together, or you can take it off and take the stripes and use those to border things. So if you were making some storage for your sewing room, maybe you've made some sort of fabric storage baskets or, just a little bag to store your threads in, you could use the strips on this. So this bundle has got this fabric in it. I'll just fold it back in half, but it's also got the same fabric, but in another colour. This one's got a sort of a peachy colour background. So the two of them will work really well together. So if you want to make something, for your sewing room, but what you can do as well, that's that lovely machine I was talking about. Don't they work really well as individual icons? So you could use that one to cut out, and you could sew that on top of something else. If you were making a little covered notebook for yourself or a friend, you could cut out all of the bits from it, even that little strip So there's a lot going on in this fabric that you can use. I love this. Look at that sewing machine. I've got one old Singer machine that I absolutely love. It's not working very well at the moment. I think it needs oiling, because you know what it's like with your brand new machines. They never need any oil, but these old ones do. So I think I need to give it a little bit of care. But it's very similar to that. Isn't it gorgeous? Makes me want to start collecting them. Anyway, beautiful bundle. I think I might quite like to have that. It's the sort of one that I would buy and put on my shelf, and it would live there for a couple of years, and then I go, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. This is the time. But it's just all the little icons, and I absolutely love that one. Right, Hannah, can I do, oh, I like that one. Can I do the cow parsley next? So Hannah's just letting me go for it now. Oh, Oh, this one, God, I like this one. This one, it's got a special saving on it. It's under £10, and it shouldn't be. There's quite a big saving on it. Now, this is Lewis and Irene Country Life, and I love this one because I love cow parsley. I quite often pick cow parsley and bring it indoors. Looks beautiful. If you've got like a big old milk jug with cow parsley, it looks fantastic. This is the first bundle under £10, and look, here and there, you've got bees. So I know it's the first day of autumn, but let's pretend it's summer. Gorgeous. I love the background colour on this. It's a real bluey grey. It's very soft and very subtle. Now, I do like the fabric that you've chosen to pair with this one, Hannah. This beautiful pale pink. Doesn't that look lovely together? Because, do you know what? Both of these have got a grey undertone to them. So although it's pink, it's a very subtle pink, and with the bluey grey, they go really well together. I really like that one. Look, let me just show you what it looks like if we were to bind something. That's really fresh, beautiful. Say you were going to make a cushion, I would make the front and back, because you can get the front and the back from the ½ metre, and then you could put a binding all the way around the edge of it using that. I mean, that is stunning. It should be over £10, under £10. I mean, that is beautiful. Hannah was allowed to do a little bit of a discount today, but I do like that bundle. I've not seen that fabric before. It's very nice. And we've only had it on a handful of times, but isn't it? It's lovely to have that. It's lovely to see the two together, because you can see how well they complement each other. Because it's really hard. It's really hard sort of matching these fabrics yourself. It's, you know, it's fine you see them on air and you hopefully they're the right colours, but you know that because we put them together, don't they look this just so fresh? But, you know, even simple, I think I would go with cosmetic bag with that. You know, if you're making a little wash bag, you can make the body of it that. And you know when you have a bag where you put the base in another fabric and then you box the bottoms like that? Isn't that lovely? Goes really well together. It's not often the sort of colours that you, often when you're putting colours together, you go with the sort of the completely opposite side of the spectrum, or you choose a darker. But that's so pretty. Very lovely. Oh, Hannah's got a picture. Have you got a picture? It would be very lovely in that Helen Newton bag. Have we got the instructions for that? Oh, yeah. On the website, if you put in Helen Newton's Doris tote bag, it would look very nice in that. You could put the pink at the top, and then you'd put the other fabric at the bottom. Very nice. Like that. £9.99. That was Hannah's inspiration for this bundle. It's a shame that she didn't make the bag up in that, really, because then we could have seen it, couldn't we? You know, or we could have seen her inspiration in real life. Shoes. Can we do shoes? Shoes. This is a big bundle. Oh, I love this one. I just love. I don't know why, and I collect these as well. I've got so many fabrics with pictures on and things. Shoes. I don't collect high heels. No, I collect many things, but one of the things I collect is fabric that has pictorial things on. This is a shoe bag, isn't it? Under £15. In fact, it's under 13. So you get this fabric, then ½ metre of that. Then you get ½ metre of the grey, which goes beautifully with the shoes. And then you get ½ metre of red. Oh, and it's not just your normal red. It's that lovely sort of mottled red. So I'm thinking shoe bag for your holidays, storage, shoe storage, so you can use, if you wanted to really make the most of this, you could just put a centre panel on with the shoe fabric, and then you could use the borders on the top and bottom. If you know someone who loves shoes, who's a bit of a shoe collector, what a lovely gift. Everybody would love a shoe bag. It's the sort of thing, you know, when you go on holiday and then you end up putting them in a plastic bag. But wouldn't it be nice to put them here? If you buy somebody a pair of shoes, put them in a bag, even if it's just a pair of flip-flops. But also, it doesn't have to be for shoes. It's, you know, obviously it's very feminine, so it's really lovely for things like wash bags and toilet bags and little gift bags and those little, you know, those little round bottom bags, like small duffel bags. Or if you're making something for a teenager and you're not really sure, cushion for their bedroom. That's gorgeous, isn't it? So under £13, 1.5 meters, and you know, because Hannah's chosen them, that the two plain fabrics go beautifully with this fabric. It's got a really lovely ivory background. It's not bright white, it's ivory. So 1.5 meters for £12.49. Right, what one should we do next? Oh, I've got another Liberty one. Liberty. Oh, yeah, I can see that one. Hannah loves this bundle. Did you make this bundle then, Hannah? Yeah, she loves this bundle. That's because she made it. But she could only make 10 of them. So quick. Because there was only 5 meters left in the whole warehouse, so she could only make 10 of these. Look at that. It's gorgeous, isn't it? It's so fresh. Remember, it's Liberty print, but it's on quilting weight cotton. It features beautiful, like pansies. You've got purple, mauve, and then I love the sort of the citrine and the leafy green that you've got in amongst it as well. And it's all the light colour is all bright white. So Hannah has just gone white. Just plain white, because it really makes the white flowers pop out, doesn't it, when you put that across the bottom of it. So Hannah wants a clutch bag and some hair scrunchies from this. Hair scrunchies with ears. Have you seen those hair scrunchies where you put little ears on them? I like that. But it is so pretty, isn't it? There's a lot of you now, I mean, it is September, it's the second day of autumn. There's a lot of you are now starting your Christmas stitching, and I don't mean Christmas decorations, although you are starting that as well, but Christmas gift stitching is always with me. It gets to September, I think, oh, what am I going to make for people this Christmas? And I have these great plans. Last year I made my daughter a picnic quilt. Honestly, it took me 3 months. But once I got to the middle of November, I wish I'd never started it, and I couldn't make anything else. It was the only thing I made. But and it took me most of Christmas Day to tell her in detail every single part of it. But so she really appreciated it. It was all pineapples and strawberries with a appliqué picnic basket. And she always says, Mum, I've used the picnic rug. I think, thank goodness for that. But anyway, this is the... Could never, ever, ever not use that. It took me so long. Not sure I'd do it again. But if you're thinking about starting your Christmas present stitching, this is a really good place to start. So you could make, from this, you could make 4 or 5 small cosmetic bags, zip purses. If you're thinking, well, I've got a few friends that I always buy a gift for, don't want to spend a lot on them, just buy them something small, like a little tube of hand cream, but make them a little cosmetic bag from this bundle. You can use the white to line it, or you could put it as an extra border on it. But there are only 6. There are only 6 of these remaining, but this is lovely. So this, if you have a look through, go on, click on Watch Live and go through today's deals. You'll see the ones that we've already shown. So if you're thinking about starting your Christmas present stitching, don't commit to the full-on massive picnic quilt that I did. Although it is a thing of beauty. And I tell her that most days, so she appreciates how long it took me. Never again. So this £10.98. Oh, that's well under £15 then. Fantastic. Next. I'm going to do the chickens. Can't I do the chickens? Oh, look, isn't the chicken? We're not allowed to do that one yet. I'll put that to one side. Later. Chickens will be coming later. Tractors. It's nearly the same as chickens. So, again, Christmas gift stitching. Children. Children or anyone that you know that lives on a farm. Make your favourite farmer a new shirt. Oh, I like that. Who's that one by? No, that's Lewis and Irene, Piggy Tales. Look, isn't that lovely? Really lovely all over tractor print, but they're really good to cut out for little applique things as well. So if you've got a little bit left over when you've made something, don't throw it out, keep the little tractors for things. So you've got 1/2 metre of the tractor print. Very nice book cushion, I'm thinking. Oh, a playmat. We've also, yeah, Hannah's going a bucket hat. Yes, that would be nice. But you can make people bucket hats, even though we're going into little boy in a little bucket. It's so cute. So with this, you've got 1/2 metre of the red, and it's that lovely mottled red, really bright primary red. I'll lay that one out there. And not only that, 'cause you get 3 in this one, 14.97, 1/2 metre of blue. Look at that. So and they go really well. Let me just put one above and one below, and then you can see better how well they go. So you get the 1/2 metre of the tractor print, 1/2 metre of red, and 1/2 metre of blue, £14.97. So for children's gifts or anyone who lives on a farm, or anyone who just loves a tractor. People in the Wurzels. We were talking about the Wurzels the other day. A lot of people hadn't heard of the Wurzels, and I'm still very, very disappointed about them. Oh, and now Hannah and Emma are now singing I've Got a Brand New Combine Harvester. Which actually I realised recently is quite impressive, because combine harvesters are really expensive. So I think like ridiculously expensive. So I think if you've got a brand new combine harvester and you give someone the key, that is true love. Sorry, true tractor love, that is. Next. This one, the roof. This makes me think of a gingerbread house roof. Isn't it? Oh, it's for mermaids. But if you are doing like, it looks like a really sweetie gingerbread house. I'm going to turn it that way around, because that's what it looks like. So if you were doing applique and then you had roofs, if you were doing a beach hut, this is the best roof for a beach hut. Or you're just a little house. I think that's gorgeous. I mean, it is called, yeah, Ahoy Mermaid, so I guess it's supposed to be mermaid scales. But I'm thinking gingerbread house, sweetie house. But it's lovely, but can you see, I'll give it a little shake, that around the edge of all of the scallops, actually I'll tell you what this is, it'll come to me. No, what's the, clamshell. It's clamshell, isn't it? It's clamshell blocks. So, you know, when you overlap all the clamshells, but round the edge of every clamshell is actual metallic gold. Shall I give it a little, can you see it shimmering? I like that. But you could make clamshell blocks out of this fabric. How fantastic would that look like? But it's not just that you get for £10.98. You also get sweetie pink out of it as well. Book cushion again. I'm thinking that would make a lovely book cushion. Children love them. And Hannah's thinking dragon cuddly toy, because it's dragons, it's mermaids, it's gingerbread house roof, and it's clamshell patchwork. Very, very versatile, but it does have, you'll see it when you get it home, it does have a overprinted gold metallic border on all of the clamshells as well. £10.98. I like that one. And I haven't seen this, and this is Riley Blake. I haven't seen the other fabrics in that range, so I wonder if they've all got metallic on them. But very beautiful, all shades of pink and white with gold. Moda scrap bags coming up. I'm not allowed to do it till the end of the hour though, so you're going to have to wait. Marigold, this one. That doesn't look like marigolds. I don't actually, to be honest, I thought marigolds were like gold colour, like chrysanthemums. Are you sure this is called marigold? Oh, it's magnolias. It's nothing to do with marigolds. I'm sure marigolds are orange. It's not called marigolds. It's called magnolias. Now, do you know what? Funny enough, these look exactly like magnolias. Yeah. Aren't they nice, though? That's so funny. But Hannah was just reading it wrong. She was obviously just been doing the washing up. But all squares, so you can use it as a complete all over, or you can cut them out. Use them as individual squares. Or, say if you did half of me, you'd use half of it. Fantastic cushion, because you could quilt round all of the squares. Very classic, isn't it? But what you get in this bundle, so you get half a metre of all of those marigolds. I'm saying it now. Magnolias. All of those magnolias. But you also get half a metre of extra wide backing. Whoa! That's really good value, because that's half of it. My arm's are not long enough. Let me just prove to you. Look, that's half of it. So the extra wide backing is 200 and something. Can't remember. It's about 2.5 metres wide. So you get half a metre of that, and obviously that's extra wide. So that's more. It's 2.5 times, I think, more than twice the normal fabric width. Yeah, something like 274. So you've got half a metre of extra wide black backing fabric. It's not solid. It's got a really nice mottled print to it. And half a metre of magnolias. That's a fantastic bundle for £14.48. Hannah is obviously thinking down the gift making route, because really, if you can start thinking now, get your Christmas list out. What can I make? Everybody loves a homemade gift. And if you haven't done a bit of sewing for a while, then this is a great time to start, because it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Start off with a tote bag with fabric handles. By the time you get to November, you'll be on concealed zips. Yes, I've got to just go back over the pumpkin one moment. The pumpkins, pumpkins are coming back. So there's quite a few of you who've got this one in baskets. So just so you have a look, because I just wanted those of you who have got this one in baskets, please be aware there's a lot more of you within baskets than we've actually got. So you really need to check out. So if you want this one, you get half a metre of this gorgeous pumpkin squashy autumnal berries and leaves fabric. You get half a metre, this lovely, very gentle green. Autumn green, and then you get half a metre of this lovely mustardy gold. Look how lovely is that? So 3.5 metres, 1 print fabric, 2 coordinating planes for only £13.97. Bargain. Like that. Please do carry on checking those out. Can we do chickens yet? Oh, do you know we're never going to get to do the chickens. Monochrome kitty. Yeah, and I can see that one. That was easy, because that's the only cat fabric. Look at that one. Now, we're very, very limited on this bundle. This one is by Wyndham Fabrics, and it's called Mod Cat, because it's a very modern cat. Black background with white, grey, medium grey and dark grey cats all over it. So if you love cats, you love a cat print, you want to make something for a cat, or you know someone who loves a cat, this is the perfect bundle for them. So you get half a metre of the cat print, then you get half a metre of the lighter grey. Look how well that goes. And then you get half a metre of the sort of the darker, more slate grey. I'll put that one at that end, then you can see better. It looks better without the labels. Look at that. What a beautiful bundle. Lovely for a bag base, lovely for the handles. Nice to use for a lining, so if you're making something that you want to line, that works really well together. £13.99 for 3.5 metres. For every cat lover out there. Quarter of the stock of that one has already gone, unsurprisingly, because I love that one. I like the way that it's a very sort of sketchy outline cat. They're not sort of really sort of solid lines. It's really... It's just got a lot, you know it's a designer fabric, it's just the way it's done. It's not sort of solid prints, it is hand drawn. Ooh, we've got one with oh yes, we've got a 4 fabric bundle. And there were only 8. There were more than that of these. So this one that's got 4 fabrics, there's only 8 of these left because lots of you bought this on pre-order. Very pretty. This one is the vintage rose bundle. Have you called it that? Soft roses. It's like vintage roses. So you get half a metre of this. Now this is nice. Oh, I was going to say it's ever so soft. This is Rose and Hubble. Isn't that gorgeous? Very bedroom, pretty, very good value. And you get 2 metres. So we get half a metre of this lovely floral. And then Hannah has put together with it, we've got this lovely pale rose pink. It's pretty. Look, look. See those two together. Perfect. But that's not all you get. Because there are peach roses in here as well. So you get half a metre. But it's that vintage peach colour. You get half a metre of the vintage peach. And then, little summery highlight, half a metre of lemon. But obviously, you don't have to use them all together. But if you're thinking, I want to make a few things, don't know what colour to use, or, you know, I love that colourway, that really sort of fresh vintage colourway, then this is the one. So 2 whole metres. 2 whole metres of that, £14.46. But we've only got 6 of those left. So if you want them, you do need to put them in your basket and check out quite quickly. Because we haven't got enough of the floral fabric left in the warehouse to make any more of these. But let me say, this is beautiful fabric. This is so, it's quilting weight, but it's ever so soft. Really soft. And do you know what? It's a shame we haven't got more of this. This is be lovely for dressmaking. Because that is so soft and lightweight. Well, it's not. No, it's not. It's quilting weight. But it feels, you know, like when you get really like lightweight lawn fabrics and they have that lovely soft feel. That's what this one feels like. But it isn't. It's quilting weight. Beautiful quality. Put those back in the bag. Chickens. It's never going to happen, is it? She's never going to let me do the chickens. There's the chickens, just to show you. Oh, isn't it lovely? Let's see, it's nice, isn't it? She won't let me do it. Autumn leaves that we started with. She's going to have to let me do chickens in a minute, just to stop me talking about them. Now, I'm just bringing these back because we've got very, very little of this left. So I just wanted to let you know if you wanted to get the 2 autumn leaves bundle, £13.98 for 2 half metres. It's only been on air once before with me last Friday. But we've got very few of them left. So you get half a metre of the one with the lovely earthy brown background and one with the silvery grey background. £13.98 for 2 half metres of gorgeous autumn leaf fabric. In 10 minutes, we will be doing the Moda scrap bags. In 10 minutes. 10 minutes, not before. We're going to do the chickens. No, we're not. We're doing the red poppies next. Let me do the chickens. Do the chickens. Not yet. Not do the chickens yet. Oh, I love these. I've done these before. We haven't had these in a bundle before, though, have we? Love those 2. So this one is like poppy seed. Is it poppy seed heads? That's what it looks like anyway. Very large poppy seed heads. I love the colour combination in this. Because you've got the sort of aubergines and pinks, and then they just pop in a citrine yellow. But lovely as a contrast. Denim pinafore, contrast pocket. But again, Christmas gift sewing, perfect for that. But we've got half a metre of this, and then this gorgeous poppy print from the same fabric range. So they go really well together. Garden Passion by Stoff Fabrics. But the colourways, beautifully complementary. So that's the poppy in full bloom, and that's the poppy afterwards. But don't they go really well together? But you know, when you just want a little pop of colour, even if you're making something very plain and very boring, but you want, well, not boring, but you want, maybe you're making something out of denim like a wash bag or something, and you want a lining that just gives you that really zest of colour. Perfect for that. Like them. Loads and loads of different things you can make with these, but really lovely. So that's only £13.98 for 2 half metres. That's fantastic, isn't it? Really like that. Now, when we take the graphics out, it doesn't mean it's sold out. So if you want to, you've had to look at all the fabrics so far and thinking, yeah, I'm going to start my Christmas sewing, but you can't decide. Then click on the deals on today's show deals on the website when you click on Watch Live, and you'll be able to see what we do have back in stock. But just to warn you, a lot of this is very low in numbers and is selling out as well. So if there's any you've seen. Oh, yeah, so a few people asking, the Snowmen on the shelf behind me up there are on pre-order now. So if you, there they are. They are on pre-order now because I'm going to be showing you how to make those. Oh, we're doing the chickens. Oh, she wouldn't let me do it because this is a special saving bundle. So I ruined the surprise. This isn't just under 15. This is under 10. I wondered why she wouldn't let me do it. Oh, I love this. This fabric is exclusive to us in the UK. Now, the reason I wanted to do this one is I really love hens. But I love this background. It's that, I don't know what it's called, but to me, it's that 1950s green. The colour they used to have kitchens in. So fresh, isn't it? I absolutely love this one. Really, really fresh. And then you've got these really fun chickens all over it with bright coloured feathers, and some of them are looking up and some of them looking forwards. This should be over £10, but Hannah's put a special price on this one today, £9.99. So you get half a metre of these gorgeous chickens, and then what other colour to go with it but white, because it's so fresh and clean and kitcheny, isn't it? Elizabeth agrees with me. Please, 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 can we have the chickens? Thank you, Hannah. Yes, see, with you. It's my favourite one. I saw it when I came in and said, I love the chickens. But this has got to be a set of oven gloves, isn't it? Placemats. I'd make this. It used to be called April Green. Oh, what, this sort of 1950s colour. That's actually, thank you for that, Mary. That's a brilliant name. Yes, because it is. I'm going to use it all the time now. This colour is now April Green. But to me, it's 1950s kitchens. But it should be over £10. You get half a metre of the Rose and Hubble quality white cotton and the half a metre of April Green chickens, which is exclusive to Sewing Street in the UK. I love that. It's got to be something for the kitchen, though, hasn't it? Or someone who loves chickens. But, you know, if you had a dresser and you wanted to put something on it with that, I think a couple of placemats, some napkins, buy yourself a few of them. Oven gloves you could, you know, or Helen loves a pot holder. Or even, you know, you want to just make a drawstring bag to put your carrier bags in the kitchen. You know, you can get those carrier bag drawstring bags that are long and thin. Be lovely for that, wouldn't it? Really like this. Quarter of the stock of this one has gone. But you could make you probably make 3 or 4 placemats from this. I love that. Love that fabric. So there's a lot of you who've got this one in your basket at the moment. So if you're thinking of buying, there's a few of you buying it in multiples, because I think, it would, because you get the 2 half meters. There's a lot of matching items that you remember, you know, so if you buy more than one, it won't be cut as a whole metre, you'll just get more half metres. But if you're thinking you want to make a matching set of something, it's a shame we haven't got it in different colours, actually. But we never know. We might do, because that would be nice. I wonder if it's got because it could do with that blue. So if this is April Green, what do you think that sort of 1950s blue would be? Would that be June blue? So 2 half metres, you get this lovely Rose and Hubble quality, really bright white fabric. Gorgeous. I'm going to fold that one up. Can we have a... Oh, I've just noticed all these chickens are looking in different directions. Can we have a close-up, please, Bob? So, can you see, you've got some chickens that are looking upwards, and then some that are looking forwards. Aren't they lovely? Got a great idea from Elizabeth. Use the chickens to make covers from your kitchen appliances. Yes. Do you know, I saw once in a book a toaster cover, and I've always wanted to make a toaster cover. just because it just looks so cute. But it would, you know. And actually, my food mixer is this colour. I have the colour, and I also have a kettle in this colour, a little bit lighter. I think making a kettle cover might be taking it a step too far. I think the family will complain that they'd have to keep putting on that, but I could do with a toaster cover. It would be, and I've seen food mixer covers. And Bake Off started. Did you watch Bake Off last night? Oh, I laughed so much. It was really funny because they had to do these the gravity cakes, and some of them just defied gravity and fell apart, but very impressive, particularly the man who won the Star Baker with the table lamp. Very impressive. So, you know, they could do with an appliance cover, but you know, if you want more than a half a metre, you have to buy more than one bundle because it is only available in the cut pieces like this. Right, can we do the next one now? Sorry, I'm getting told off now. Really sorry, but I've got to allow you to check out. So just slow it down. I'm just aware we're nearly on Moda time. Right, I've got one more. Carry on going through with that one because I've got bored waiting because I've got another one. There are still some available of that. Please send me photos of your toaster covers when you finish them. There is a book, I think one of the Debbie Shaw books has got a toaster cover in it. I'm sure that's where I've seen it. One day I'm going to make one. Now this is a nice bundle. Massive 2 metre bundle. Under £15. This is nice, isn't it? It's not Liberty, but it's Liberty-esque. It's Liberty inspired. Isn't it pretty though? It's very, very pretty. I mean, for £15, you get 4 half metres. You've got this lovely, lovely print, which with all these beautiful... I love the colours because you've got the lovely mauve and that really bright pop of tomatoey red and then the green. So Hannah has put together in this bundle. She's put the tomatoey red. Good choice. That works, doesn't it? So you're getting half a metre of this floral, half a metre tomatoey red. And then, so Hannah's thinking, if you don't use the red with this, you've got red for your Christmas stash. Well, that is true. However, this red does match beautifully with those red flowers. But nice to have, you know, you might not need the whole half metre, so you've got a bit left over. We've got half a metre of peach. Don't really like that word for fabric. Makes me think of toilet roll. But apricot. We'll go apricot. And that matches the apricot-y flowers in there. And half a metre of white, obviously, because the background is white. So look at those together. Perfect stash builder. I mean, obviously, you know, when you get this bundle home, £14.96 for 2 metres, you know that they'll all go together. But obviously, if you don't use all of them, brilliant for a bit of stash building. So you've got this lovely white, a deep apricot, the lovely tomato red, and the half metre of print fabric. Can we do Moda now? Oh, we'll have to do Moda scrap bag now. Please do carry on checking out for that. Just because I'm putting it away doesn't mean to say that we've run out. I'm getting told off now for going too fast. But you know what? I've got a lot to get through. I've only got 5 hours on air today. We have got a lot. I've got Adam waiting. He's threaded up his machine. He's threaded up his overlocker. Hannah's telling me I need to spend more time on the fabric. But we've got a lot to get through. So we'll put it all away. But it isn't out of stock just because I put away in its plastic bag. It just means I've got a lot to get through. And I'm a very impatient person. Very, very, very impatient. Right, can we do Moda? So which one can I open? So these are now back in stock. Can I open the new one? So it is random. Let me say it's random. What I'm showing you now is not what you'll get in yours. However, it is done on weight. So you will get 227 grams and you'll have them all rolled up. Look. So these are, oh, that's a worry. You know when you've got a sticker on you and you don't, I'll put it on the side of the desk and we'll find out what it came from. So these are, how much do they cost? She's not going to tell me. So normally, because it's a scrap bag, you don't think about the price because you get so excited that it's I'm going to unroll it. It's going to be Moda fabric. So this is gorgeous anyway, but let's just have a think about price because it's sort of important. We have had an under £15 hour, so really this should be under £15. Is it under £15? Oh no, £14.99. £14.99 for Moda. So you will get, obviously it's all Moda fabric. It's all cut in 2.5-inch strips. And let me give you, this is just one of them. You don't know what you're going to get, but you do know that you'll get, are they always strips? Right, so they sometimes vary in length, but they're always strips. So it's done on weight. So you will get the same amount of fabric, 227 grams. But this is just one of them. And it will all be Moda. They don't put anything else in because it does say Moda on the label. But aren't they lovely? Gorgeous. I mean, we don't create this. We're not done this in our warehouse. We do buy these from Moda. Aren't they lovely? All beautiful Moda fabrics, £14.99. And the surprise is you don't know what colours you're going to get. It's like having one of those mystery quilts, isn't it? So you make this, you think, right, whatever I get in my scrap bag, I'm going to make it into a cushion. Whatever happens. And then give it to somebody. Gorgeous. So that's just one of them. Shall I show you another one? Just to give you an idea. I'm amazed that these are under £15. You know, if you were paying full price for that, that would cost considerably more. So that's a brand new one. I like the fact that they come a nice little gift as well. If you're gifting, because look, what a nice, Secret Santa. That's a very nice gift, isn't it? Because it does say Moda on the package as well. Net weight, £0.5. I like that. And then here's another one, just to give you an idea of what else you could get. Ooh. Oh, I'd like both of these. So this one you've got prints and greens. Some of them have got selvages on, very nice. And charcoals. Oh, that one's got bees on. Look at that one. That one's got bees on it. Lovely. So who knows what you'll get, but you will get £0.5 and you will get Moda. I would like any of these. And I love the ones that have got the selvages on because you can see where they all came from. Springbrook by Coriander Quilts. Anyway, so those are the Moda scrap bags. We have just got them back in stock. Always extremely popular. And in your under £15 hour. So I hope you've been inspired to get your Christmas stitching started. Save a little bit of money. Buy your bundles. I have got Adam waiting in the wings. So this is a picture of his sister wearing the dress that he's going to be making next and show us how to do it. He's going to show you all about shearing elastic. Be fab. Fab. Love that dress. It's the Petworth dress from Sussex Seamstress. So I will be back with you in a couple of minutes when I've cleared the desk, got Adam in, put the machine on, and sit back and enjoy some fantastic dressmaking. I'll see you back in a couple of minutes.
In need of a crafting fix? There are so many ways you can watch Sewing Street and Yarn Lane. Sewing Street is live from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day on Freeview 72 and Sky 670. Alternatively, if you want to watch us on a tablet or on the move, you can tune in on our YouTube channel, the Sewing Street app, or the websites at www.sewingstreet.com and www.yarnlane.com. You can watch past shows on Sky 670 from 1 p.m. every day, as well as our YouTube channel, the app, and our website. Yarn Lane is on from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Visit our programme guide to find out when and what's on. So you never have to spend a minute without us. Follow Sewing Street and Yarn Lane on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with what's coming up on the show, as well as being the first to know about our amazing offers. Get involved with our competitions that are exclusive to social media. And pick up some top tips from us too. Stuck for ideas for the perfect gift? Why not get them a gift card? You can buy Sewing Street and Yarn Lane gift cards loaded up with anything from £10 to £500. Shop our gift cards online at www.sewingstreet.com or www.yarnlane.com, or purchase them via our UK call centre on 0800 001 44 33.
To see me back. My favourite piece of kit with the sewing is the seam ripper. Hello, I'm Janice from Birmingham. I specialise in dressmaking. I used to run a children's shop and I love making children's clothes. My mother encouraged me to sew from an early age. When we were young, we did dressmaking in school. My claim to fame was the sewing quarter. But I'm now making also jumpsuits for ladies and men of all shapes and sizes, and it seems to be going for the festivals around the country. See you on the show.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay one P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Have you heard about all of the different ways you can shop with Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? You can either shop on our websites, sewingstreet.com and yarnlane.com. You can also order by phone by calling our friendly UK customer service team. For Sewing Street, call 0800 001 4433, and for Yarn Lane, call 0800 4700 600. And don't forget about the Sewing Street app. Here you can shop all of the Sewing Street products as well as watch the live shows from anywhere. You can download the app onto your smartphone or your tablet by simply searching Sewing Street in your app store. And one final thing, no matter how many times you check out on Sewing Street or Yarn Lane in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. Happy shopping!
Sewing Street have our very own app. You can now watch and shop from anywhere. Simply download the app from your app store onto your smartphone or tablet, then log in or create an account, and you're done. You can watch us live from anywhere, browse all our recently played items and pre-orders so you never miss out on any show deals, and message the studio to say hello at any time. And remember, you can check out as many times as you want and only pay one P&P all day.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
And welcome back to Sewing Street. We have got the fantastic Petworth dress from Sussex Seamstress, there's too many S's, that Adam is going to be demonstrating for us. Now, I just need to tell you, if you want to buy the Snowman, which are launching at 10 o'clock, there they are, Sydney, Sylvia and Sam the Snowmen. with a panel to make everything for them, and I've even written a knitting pattern if you want to knit a hat. They are available on pre-order if you want one, so just click on Watch Live, scroll down, and then you can get the kit there. So if you want to get ahead and get it before we go on air, because they have been selling very quickly this morning, because they are launching today, and they match my Snowman badge, which I pinched off Neil, but don't tell him. It's nice, isn't it? Couldn't find one in the office, but he had one in his drawer, so I stole it. But he blue tacked it in.
I love it.
It's great, look. It's got a little snowman, isn't it?
It's bonkers that we're having to think about Christmas,
I know,
but we've got to.
I know, we've got to. So I've pinched the Snowman badge. So if you want the Snowman, it is available on pre-order. If you go on the website on Watch Live and scroll down, you'll see it there. Anyway, welcome, Adam.
Thanks for having me, Rebecca. It's lovely to meet you.
Oh, you too. So excited. Love all the pictures you took as well.
My sister.
I know of your sister.
I dumped
There she
these
is.
frocks
Look,
on my
there she
sister.
is.
There she is.
What's her name?
Danielle.
Morning, Danielle. Will she be watching?
Yeah, possibly with my
Okay.
nephew. She's got a little one, so
Aw.
I turn up at hers with all these dresses that I've made, and I say, "I'll put some slap on, put that on," and she does.
Well, morning, Danielle. Thank you very much for modelling them. You took some great photos.
Thank
Well, it's
you.
nice to see it live, isn't it?
Yeah,
Rather than just on the
it's
model.
great putting it on a mannequin, and I strongly recommend the adjuster forms. I use them all the time. But to get your garment, especially this beautiful dress on a model,
I think so.
to see how it moves, because this lovely fabric, this viscosy type fabric,
It
just
is.
moves so
It's
lovely.
different, isn't it, to your normal cotton?
Yeah.
Really, if you haven't used viscose before, it has a completely different movement to it,
Yeah.
doesn't it? So it's nice to see it on. Do you know, I've so many times I've knocked bottles of water on the floor this morning. I keep like bending, fall on the floor. Anyway, so how did you find the pattern?
Oh, this pattern is lovely. There's some really nice elements in it, Rebecca. Gathered tiers, lots of nice full fabric on the bottom tier.
Very on trend, all of that, isn't it?
It is. I've seen so much of it this year. It's everywhere.
I
but
quite
love
like it actually, because I don't like a short dress, so I'm really pleased that kind
Yeah.
of midi maxi style is coming back in more, isn't it?
They really, really are. You're seeing them everywhere, and it's lovely to sew them. Really interesting on this one, there are sleeves on it, so we'll
Oh,
try
look,
and get
there's your
to.
slow-mo
Oh, there
video.
she is moving. Look at that. Look at it move.
That's
Look at
very
it go. What's great about this one is the sleeve details. I love the cuff. We've got some shearing elastic on it.
I know, I was telling them earlier, because I know a lot of people are quite scared about shearing elastic. Go, shearing elastic in a sewing machine? How am I gonna do it? Oh, look, she's doing it again. I think that'll be on all morning now. Because a lot, it is quite scary, the thought of how do you sew with shearing elastic in your machine. So it'll be really nice to see that.
Yeah, we'll show you 100%.
Okay, I'm just going to go through the fabric and the bundles so we know what we're shopping for, and then we can join Adam for the demo. So let's start off with the pattern, which is the Petworth. And where is Petworth a place? It's in West Sussex. There's a picture from the pattern on the left, and on the right. Oh, okay, so these are pictures of the dress made in different fabrics. God, they look very different, don't they? So you can see, you know, how it looks in the different fabrics and how the tiers work together. I love the neckline as well.
Yeah, the
So
neckline's beautiful.
It is a town in Sussex. So in the pattern, you get everything you need. You get all the paper pieces, you get all the instructions, but you obviously need that. £15.50. Now, what is the size range? Actually, I'm not going to open mine, so I'll ask Adam. He can
I
tell us,
will
'cause
have
he's got his
size
open.
range right here,
Yes,
Rebecca.
what is the size range then, please,
So
Adam?
we're from a size 8 to a 22.
Right.
With this particular pattern, and they've got Jane, Sussex Seamstress, has put all of the measurements on the first page. You've even got a lovely symbol glossary, so it shows all the notations that are on the pattern. It's nice to have
Okay.
a quick read through that with a cuppa, and then step-by-step instructions with pictures. I love diagrams and pictures. And with this one as well, Jane's got a YouTube video, step by step, of her making the dress and showing you.
Okay.
So
and
even I
does
had
it tell
that
you on the pattern where to find that?
I believe so. I think right at the very beginning, yes, online tutorial video. There you go.
Perfect. There we go. And it's got her website on there.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
right, there is the sizing so you can see. Now, ignore that top line with the sizing, because it doesn't matter what size you are, because you're not having it printed on the outside of your dress. Just do what the measurements are.
Yes. And I'd
You
say
know?
for this one, the most important measurement for ladies is the bust measurement on this, because
Right.
that's where the fit's going to be.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's quite a looser dress, with the tiers especially, I'd go by the bust
And remember, that's in
measurement.
centimetres.
Yeah.
So if if you think you're one size and you measure and it's a different size, doesn't matter. Nobody ever knows.
No.
But we all have this thing. Well, I do. Lots of us ladies have this thing. We go, no, I'm not that size, I'm not do that. But, make it to fit you. The sizes across the top are just so you know which pattern to cut out. But
Exactly.
do your measurements or get someone to do it. And make sure you're wearing, like, the underwear that you're probably going to wear when you wear the dress-ish. It's have to be the exact underwear, but similar anyway. Don't wear your biggest push-up bra if you'll never be wearing that when you wear the dress.
It is important though. I was doing a dress fitting not so long ago, and I had to say to the lady in the most polite way possible, please can you wear the undergarments that you'll be wearing on the day for this dress? So there you go. But it's
What did she
important.
say?
She says, oh, you put that so politely. Undergarments.
Undergarments.
Could have said undercrackers or...
One very large push-up bra. So that's the pattern, and it's what's lovely about it is it's got quite heavyweight paper for cutting out, because obviously once you've made this once, you're going to want to make it time and time again. So it's really nice that it's a good quality pattern paper. All comes in an envelope. Now we have got a choice of fabrics for you. So the fabric that Adam has used to make his dress in is this one. Now, all the bundles have 4.5 metres, which is enough to make the biggest size, which is a 22. Amazing saving. Save £10. So you're almost getting the pattern for free. Almost. The pattern's not in the bundle. What I'm saying is that if you buy the fabric, you save £10, which then is like you're getting the pattern then when you buy that separately for a £5. So it goes at size 8 to 22. There is enough fabric here to make the largest size, and you are saving £10 on this bundle. So what's the fabric? What is it? Is it a viscose, a cotton? Is it a mixture?
I think it's a mixture. It feels more like a viscose though,
Okay.
Definitely. It's got that fluidity about it.
And it doesn't crease.
No,
Even
it's
better.
fantastic.
It's beautiful,
It's been in the back of
isn't
my
it?
car for a
It's
couple
lovely,
of days.
isn't
and
it?
it's
So I
fun.
love this one. It's got a really jet midnight black background with these beautiful vintage flowers on it. So 4.5 metres of fabric in that. That's the picture of Danielle wearing this fabric.
She didn't know she was going to be on the telly.
Did she not? She's been on the telly She's been on the telly now more than you have this
Yeah,
morning, I
yeah.
think. Famous. Next one, this one. I like this one. I'm going to open this one up a little bit so you can see it a bit better. Lovely sort of French blue colour background with a spot and a big all-over floral. It really suits these large flowers. Again, 4.5 metres. It's a blue chalet lawn. It's beautiful, isn't it? And it doesn't crease either. Really lovely. And that's enough to make the largest size, and you've got a really big £10 saving. Fantastic, because it's really nice to be able to buy the fabric that will actually suit the pattern, and also a print that will suit it. Now this is actually my favourite one. I love this. Oh, this is really soft. So again, this is your chalet lawn. Again, £10 saving, £61.91, and you've got enough fabric here to make the largest size. But this has got a lovely sort of deep clotted cream coloured background with French blue, navy blue, and a little sort of pop of tomato red here and there. That would look lovely in this dress, wouldn't it?
It would. That's gorgeous.
Just
that
because
one.
the size, it's beautiful, isn't it? But it's ever so soft, this one. Dressmaking fabric is really hard to find, to get the right thing, unless you can go to a shop and look at it, and then you've got to find one. But it's not the easiest thing to find exactly the right fabric, so we've done the hard work for you. Now, everything that we have of that fabric, the Princess Kate Chalet Lawn, that's all that we have in stock. So we're not selling it otherwise, it's only in those bundles. This is lovely. This is real 1970s. Oh, I love that one. I love this. There are loads. But this is really on trend at the moment. There's so many dresses doing this sort of print. But that's beautiful, isn't it? So this one, £52.91. Wow. So this is called Teal Reminiscence, 100% viscose chalet lawn. And what's beautiful about this is it is so soft. because it's got that viscose in. So it makes it soft, which means it doesn't crease, but it just flows beautifully. You know, dresses like this, although it's a very lightweight fabric, you can wear them in the winter. You can even, although it's a long sleeve, you can wear a sort of a thicker top underneath it if you want to, but it's beautiful, you know, for evening wear in the winter.
Layers. Layer it up.
Layer it up. I mean, you could put a polo neck underneath that, couldn't you? A sort
that
of
would
thin
look really
cotton.
fashionable and again on trend, I think,
Yeah.
as well.
But if you had like a black or a teal coloured, just a cotton polo neck,
Yeah,
would look
just
lovely
to pick
with
that
that.
out.
God, I love that one. So that's beautiful. £52.91. Remember, you are saving £10 with that. The bundles of fabric don't come with the pattern. You have to buy those separate. The reason we've done that is so that you can then choose which fabric you want to go with which. Or maybe you just love the fabric and think, I know exactly what I'm going to do with the 4.5 metres of that. So you don't have to buy the pattern as well. But obviously, you know, by saving £10, that does substantially, you know, decrease the cost once you're buying the pattern as well. And then we've got a plain, if you fancy a plain. This beautiful lavender. Again, it's called soft lilac, actually. I was thinking more like French lavender. But again, it's your challis, soft, beautiful, beautiful flowing weight. Absolutely perfect fabric for this pattern. 4.5 metres, which is enough to make from size 8 to 22. And remember to do your measurements first to work out what size you are on the pattern. We've also got shearing elastic, which you will need for doing the sleeves. Let me show you the shearing elastic. So you'll need this only £1.99, but you'll need that for doing the sleeves with. We'll show you how that works later. And then here's the pattern once again, which you will need the Petworth pattern. You show you that. I haven't opened it very well. There we go. And remember, it comes in size 8 to 22. So if you want to screenshot it, so you want to just check your measurements, but the fabric that we've given you there is what you will need to make up to a size 22. There we go. Oh, we've got a nice message. Hi Rebecca and Adam, I love the Sussex Seamstress pattern. So easy to follow with great results from Julie in Hertfordshire. Thanks Julie, it's really nice to have feedback from the viewers, you know, that you've made them and what you think about them. I totally agree. Every time I do a show with Sussex Seamstress, I want to make that dress until the next one, and then I want to make that one. I need to just have all of them.
They are fab, and they are really nice to follow.
Oh, good.
Really.
So where did you start? Obviously, you cut the pattern pieces out.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
cut the patterns out. Obviously, measured my sister.
Measured your sister
over the phone. I was like, grab a tape measure. But yeah, obviously cut your pattern out and then cut your pieces out. And I like to have a cup of tea after I've done that. Make sure you cut them out accurately.
A separate thing, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of people dread it, but I think you've got to take your time over cutting your pieces. And there's not all of that many, and you know, a lot of them are on the fold as well.
So what sort of cutter are you? Of a scissor or a rotary cutter?
I use a combination of both.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm more recently a rotary cutter for speed more than anything, but when you're getting some tight corners and curves and things, I prefer to pick up the scissors and pin it and make sure, especially with this viscose type fabric or this challis, that you're making sure that the underlayer doesn't move when you're cutting 2 layers at a time.
So have you got any tips to working, you know, when you're cutting out this fabric?
I mean, more delicate fabrics, what I'd make sure is you pin the pattern properly to the fabric and make sure you work on a nice flat surface.
Right.
Also, if it is really delicate and if you're working with things like chiffon and stuff, if it's a cut on the fold piece, I'd duplicate that. So I'd make sure that I traced it off and then I had a full piece. So then I'm not cutting on the fold and I can stabilise the fabric, just making sure that it's nice and flat and I'm cutting it rather than on the fold and chance of it slipping. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Cutting out and then and getting sewing really straight onto it.
Does it stretch at all? No, it doesn't, does it?
No,
So
there's no stretch in it.
Flat.
Yeah, you've just got to be careful on the bias. There's a little bit of movement on the bias there, so you've got to make sure that you're okay there. So yeah, basically we've got some bodice pieces here. We've got the back bodice, which is cut 1 to fold, and then the bodice front, which is cut 2. Which creates this lovely neckline, and you'll be able to see here that you've got that little opening there, and then it's the centre seam down the front. I've tried to pattern match it.
Well, yes, beautiful pattern
It's
match
done all
in
right.
there. No, that's a lovely bit of pattern match.
So there we go, setting myself a challenge. So all we're going to do with this front bodice piece, and I'll just move that bit out of the way, is there's some notches here and on this one as well. Now you're going to fold over and over again 5mm. That's your centimetre seam allowance. I should probably say that all the seam allowances throughout this pattern, Rebecca, are a centimetre.
Okay.
So we're going to make sure that's pinned, and this creates that nice little opening, and the tie eventually will go to the top. So I'm just pinning down to that notch there. I've already done it on this one, as you can see, and we're just going to sew a nice little seam down there as close
so it's
to
just
the
a
edge.
little hem then.
It's a little hem, yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, yeah. And that's just prep first off. So we'll sew those on the machine. So when we get to it, yes, everything is a centimetre seam allowance. Now you are using or going onto the edge of this fabric. So at the moment, it's just about finding a reference point, and I just use the foot of the machine to do this. Just look where I'm going and try and sew as close to the edge as I can. So I'll just back tack there, and then carry on taking your pins out as you go. It's quite a little seam, but if you just take your time, you should all be good.
Okay.
I'll just, and if you feel like you need to baste it or tack it, please do so. With these little things, it's the attention to the detail that'll give the more pleasing results in the end. If that makes sense.
Yes, I see what you mean. So if you're worried or you haven't used this sort of fabric before, then you might want to press it or tack it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're not, then just go for it.
That's it. I just go for it these days, but when you've got to make so much. So there we go. So we've got that one. We'll sew this next one now. I'm actually sewing from the bottom up this time. Usually, as a rule of thumb, I'd always say sew down a garment.
Right. Why is that then?
Just to make sure that your seam allowances are evenly balanced, and that if you've got any discrepancy from the cutting out, which you shouldn't have, it's easier to fix within a hem than it is to fix it in a waistband if you've not quite met
makes
up.
Sense. Yeah. So when you get to the bottom, if the hem doesn't quite level up, then
you can cheat it a little bit. It shouldn't happen that way if you cut it out precisely.
I know, but
a little tip from me to you.
I like that tip. I'm going to remember that when I make this dress.
So yeah, and just sewing down the garment for me always just seems to work. That's the way that the garment's flowing. So that's the way that it should be doing it. Right, here we go. So we're going to back tack again. And then once we've got these in here, I've actually put my pins in the wrong way this time because I forgot I was sewing this way. It's all right though. Okay.
I always do that. It's really, and then you think, why didn't I just take them out and move them? But
I know. I'm just showing you quickly.
And then I get too close to it as well. So it's really hard to take it out.
Exactly. Right, so we've got those done. Perfect. So that forms, and then you just want to give those a little press, really. So that forms that. Now what we're going to do is right sides together, as we're going to join that centre seam now. Okay. So here we go. And again, I always like to pin everything in place. So you're going to match those notches that you made. You might just need to cut into those notches a little bit just to display the seam allowance by 1 centimetre.
Okay.
And then in terms of finishing, what you'd want to do is if you've got an overlocker, then use an overlocker to finish this edge in a second. Or you can zigzag.
Does this fray? Oh, it does a little bit.
It does a little bit, yeah. It does. I'd recommend some finishing on it, whether it's a zigzag, whether it's pinking shears.
It's not horrendous though, because some of these lightweight fabrics just always fall apart. But it's not too bad, is it?
No, it's okay. It is okay. But yeah, I mean, I know not everybody has an overlocker, although I swear by mine. But you know, you can use a zigzag. So now I'm just lining up at the centimetre seam allowance.
Yeah.
The good thing is just to get your needle in first as well. Just drop your needle on your machine so that you know you're in the right place. And if you're not, then you can lift the needle back up and just make sure you're aligned nicely. And then we're just sewing along. I'm going to just back tack at that bit. Taking my pins out and being good as I go.
Do you sew over your pins?
Sometimes.
Yeah, so do I. And yeah, I know you're not supposed to, but I do.
It's sacrilege.
Well, particularly if I'm sewing like a circular bottom onto something. You know, if
Yeah.
you're doing a circle in something and you really need those pins to stay there.
Yeah. Well, it's like when we come to inserting and setting in a sleeve.
That's,
like,
yes, when you're doing that.
Yeah, but what you should really do is pin it, then tack it or baste it.
Yeah.
But that's the bit that everybody misses out because you want to make this
I
fabulous
know, exactly.
dress.
It's like pre-washing, isn't it? I want a pre-wash and I don't want to tack.
That's it.
But don't do
All right.
that.
Fabulous
Do-
stuff. So yeah, that raw edge there now, you just zigzag or
Okay.
overlock
Whichever.
to finish that off, and then press it open nicely as well. All right, we can press it open now. Actually, I've got my board down.
And,
here,
and does
look.
this fabric cut all right with pinking shears? Does it?
Yeah, it does pink. It does pink.
Is that a verb?
I don't know.
Have I made that up?
Are you pinking? That's quite
Because
good.
some fabric doesn't, does it? It just sort of gets a bit
Yeah.
meshed.
You've got to be careful. You've got to make sure that those pinking shears are nice and sharp
Yeah,
as
maybe
well.
some of them weren't sharp. But yeah, but some fabric just doesn't really work. But
Yeah, but no, this is fine.
okay, maybe it's the really lightweight ones.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to
Presses
go.
nicely though, doesn't it?
Right, so it does. It sews up beautifully. Okay, so now we've got the back bodice piece. So again, we're going to go right side to right side. So the bit that I've just sewn is on the bottom. This is now the back bodice piece, and we're just going to sew the shoulder seams
Okay.
and the side seams now. And that's going to create that top bodice. So we're just matching up these seams. Now for shorter seams, you don't always have to pin. I'm just so in the habit of pinning. It's a good habit to get into, really.
Yeah, everyone has their personal preference, don't they? I'm a bit of
Yeah.
a pinner. They're probably an over pinner.
The thing is, if you're working with a really stable fabric, like a denim or a cotton, like you know that fabric's not going to move. But with something like this, I definitely suggest pinning, even these shorter seams, just to make sure that everything is nicely matched up. And again, not moving once you've got it under the machine.
Right, okay. So it's with something like this, it's worth pinning.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's looking really nice now you've making it up in this colour, because I wondered what it would look like in a plain.
Yeah.
But it is a really nice sort of grey lavender, isn't it?
It is, and I suppose it depends what kind of look you want to go for. Like you were saying, if you've got a nice print that you can pick out some colours and layer it with different
Yes,
garments,
yeah.
that'd be really, really nice. Or maybe, you know, you want a plain fabric and then wear something patterned, I don't know, underneath it, or just block colours, you know, a complementary colour.
Well, you could make this in block colours, couldn't you? Because you could have like the
Yeah.
bodice in one colour, one tier, and
Could.
then.
That'd be stunning,
That'd be
wouldn't it,
cool,
if you
wouldn't it?
tried
I wonder
that?
what colour you do it in though.
I like kind of tones of the same
Yes,
colour,
like
you
shades
know.
of grey or something like that.
Yeah.
I love that look at the moment where people have different tones of grey and then they put a bit of mustard in it.
Oh,
Quite into
yeah.
that at the moment.
Yeah.
I wonder what it would look like in that.
Something to maybe try. I don't know, maybe if somebody's buying the pattern at home and gives it a go.
Yeah, let us know. Well, that's the great thing. Once you've got the pattern, you can then keep making it.
That's
Because
it.
it just looks like a totally different dress, doesn't it, when you change
That's
the
it.
fabric?
My sister loved wearing this one. It just moves so wonderfully. And we were even saying the top part is beautiful, so you could even have it as a top and like put a little peplum on it or
that
something.
would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Would you need to lengthen the bodice to do that, or could you
I
just?
wouldn't say so. No, I think it sits quite nicely. I'm knocking things over now. But you know, you could just keep the pattern for the second tier, but just shorten it a little bit, and then you've got a top as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because the sleeve is so nice, isn't it?
I think that's the really nice detail on it, is the sleeve, which we'll get to once we've sewn these seams here. Because I really want to show you that today, because I think that's where it gets interesting. And it's so fun using shearing elastic, because the magic just happens for you once you've got your machine set up properly with the shearing elastic.
Well, you can't
in.
imagine that it's going to go through your machine, can you? Think, how is that going to happen?
Yeah, well, I'll show you how to do it, but basically it's just putting the shearing elastic onto your bobbin and letting it do its work.
How is that going to work?
It's just making sure you've got it threaded up correctly initially, which is no trouble really. He says, and then when I get to it, I'll be like, why is this not working?
No, have full confidence in you.
But yeah, I'm using the white shearing elastic for this one, and it'll be underneath. So you won't actually see the shearing elastic.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't actually
it'll
matter if you use if you use white for one of the darker colours. It's fine then.
Yeah, that's fine. It's no problem because you won't see it, as I say. You've just got to make sure that, as I say, you've threaded your machine correctly, and that's all that there is to it. And you can add probably as many lines of shearing as you want.
Oh, okay. So if you're thinking, right, I'd like quite deep cuffs then.
Yeah, you could just go for it.
All the way up to the elbow.
Sometimes I get a bit carried away. I nearly did it when I was sewing the sample up, and I was like, no, I've got to do it as the pattern. Follow the pattern.
And you're thinking, I'm going to go all the way up to here. But that would actually look quite stunning, wouldn't it? To have it sheared all the way up, sort of halfway up your elbow.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So this is starting to come together now.
Like a dress now.
Yeah, we've got that top part. And again, just press open your seams and finish those off on the overlocker as well. There is some gathering at the neckline, which I'm just going to show us very quickly. And this is really beautiful, actually. I'm just going to, now on these fancy machines where you've got the little snippy button, you need to make sure with any gathering, and there's a little bit of gathering on here, you make sure that you've got some thread tails.
Right.
So I'm just going to pull the bobbin up.
Yeah, because you're so used to pressing that cut button when you finished.
I was telling John last time, like my machine, what I call my modern machine, is a New Home, I think it is, and I've had that for years. But I sew now on vintage sewing machines, Singers, and you know, they've just got a straight stitch and that's it.
I know, I've got one vintage one, I absolutely love it. It's just...
Yeah.
Because they're like workhorses, aren't they?
Oh, they are. They really are. So what we're going to do, I've got the notches in both sides. This is the neck opening on the front.
Oh, okay.
And I've got a notch there. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
And a notch on the other side as well. And all we're going to do is run 2 rows of gathering stitches from the notch to the centre front.
Oh, okay, so it's not all the way around, it's only
No.
Right.
It's not far from being all the way round, to be honest with you. So yeah, now what we're going to do is we're going to go 0.5 of a centimetre and then a centimetre.
Okay.
For these gathering stitches. Actually, I'm going to sew it on the other side. Let's get there. So from the notch. And this is the same principle for all of the gathering on the dress. And all you want to do when you're gathering is lengthen your stitch to the longest it will go.
Okay.
And loosen your tension slightly. Not too low, not on 0, but I've got it at about 2.
Right, okay.
So I'm just going to sew 0.5 first to the centre front. And again, if you've got one of these machines that's got that handy little thread cutter, just make sure that you don't use it because you won't have. You need a long tail.
I know, but you know it's hard though, isn't it? Because you sort of automatically press the thread cutter. You have to start again then.
That's it. Well, when I was on the sewing bee, we used machines that had got that, and I'd never had that before. So I was like, "Oh, this is amazing!" But then, you know, doing gathering and stuff.
It's quite revolutionary when you first use a machine with a thread cutter. You think, this is incredible. And when you use one that's got a needle threader. Remember the first time I did that? I was like, oh, my life has changed.
It threads itself. Well, these overlockers now, the air thread themselves.
I know.
You know, they're absolutely amazing. So there we are. There's the gathering threads there. And I'm just going to repeat that step on the other side as well. Going from the centre front to the notch that you've marked. I was telling John last time with notches, when I first started sewing, I didn't know what all these pattern markings meant. You cut the shapes out, you wonk it under the sewing machine and you create something, but then you learn as you go along. And now, like, I'm a changed man. I make sure I do all my notches. They're so important.
Well, I used to, when I first started, I'd put the notches in later when I needed them, and it's really hard, isn't it? When you've sewn bits together and then you think, oh, I've got to put the notch in, you're trying to match them up to the pattern pieces.
Yeah, and it's really difficult. You can get away with it, but the problem is once you've started sewing bits together, you've sewn the seam allowance. So you've got to make sure that you're accounting for the seam. If you're matching the pattern up, you've got to make sure that for this you're taking into account that 1 centimetre.
Yeah, it is. Well, like you say, it's worth sort of taking the time to.
Oh yeah.
Doing the cutting out and the pinning and the notching.
Yeah.
Just for better finish.
It is. It's the preparation that gives the nicer finish. Right, so we've got those gathering stitches in, and later on you'll have some binding that goes around that neckline. What am I doing here? I've got it all fuddled up. There we go. And what you will do, it says quite clearly in the pattern and on Jane's fantastic tutorial, is to pull up the bobbin threads, and you want that to measure about 9 centimetres, and you want a nice even gather. Now, because we're using this type of fabric, it gives that gorgeous soft gather.
Yeah, no, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You haven't got any stiffness there at all.
No,
That's really
it's
fluid.
beautiful. Yeah, exactly, really fluid. So you want that to be 9
lovely.
centimetres from the notch to the
Okay,
centre front.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just going to gather up the next one so you can see. And then a binding. Now, you can use shop-bought binding if you want, but it's quite simple to make your own. And I made my own for this one, and that's what Jane suggests as well. Just cut in a long strip of fabric, and in the pattern, she's actually got some suggested lengths according to size, how much binding that you'll need.
You've got a message. Adam, you are an absolute delight to watch. We are learning so much from your demonstrations. They are so clear and informative. Thank you. From Donald and Sue in the Isle of Wight.
Oh, thank you, Donald and
Sue. What
it's a long time since I've been to the Isle of Wight.
I've never been to the Isle of Wight.
Have you not?
No, never.
I went on a school trip years
Did you?
ago. Yeah, but it wasn't great because I caught pneumonia. Happy memories of that
one. Was that off the ferry? Or
probably. The Isle of Wight was lovely, but the pneumonia wasn't so much. Right, so we've got that there, and then around the neckline we'll have that lovely binding that you've made. So
well, we've got another question for you then, from Claire. This is from Claire on an email, so I'm just read it to you.
Oh, yes. I'll get the sleeves ready.
Right, so patterns always say finish a seam with an overlocker or a zigzag stitch. Is there a reason why they don't use the overcast foot or stitch on the machine?
I mean, I haven't used one on mine, but I know a lot of machines do have an overcasting facility, and again, that would be absolutely fine.
Right, it's just they don't say that. But
yeah, I don't think it's as widely used, but we forget that not everybody has an overlocker. So if you've got that stitch on your machine, absolutely, it just flings some stitches over. It's a bit like a zigzag, but more like an overlocked
So it's kind
edge.
of a halfway house between a zigzag and an overlocker.
Exactly. You've just got to be careful sometimes, particularly if it's a finer fabric, that because you're right on the edge of that fabric, that you don't lose the fabric down into the hole where the bobbin is. You've just got to make sure that that doesn't happen. Just going to keep that bobbin.
So there you go. You can use the overcast. I guess it's just different machines have different stitches. So if you said in a pattern use overcast, or you're going through a lot of different options.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
There's options for everything. And with dressmaking, like I always say, there's a rule book and there's certain things but if that doesn't work for you, but another method does and gives the same result or a pleasing result, then go for it.
Yes. I mean, there are certain things like cutting your pattern out correctly and using the right seam allowance, but other than that, you can just use whatever you want.
Exactly.
And I mean, like my machine's got about 5 different edge finishes on it. So I guess if you just try them on different fabrics, see which one works the best.
Exactly.
Because I look at them all and think, what are all of these for?
I know, there's so many stitches. You can get a little bit overwhelmed by it, I suppose, sometimes. But, it's good. So what I've done is I've just put the bobbin in. Now, the bobbin's got some elastic on it. So you're going to get your shearing elastic. Now, this is a really important step. I've got mine here, look, although I've opened it, obviously, to use today, is to make sure that you hand wind the elastic onto the bobbin.
Okay, so you just hold it?
Hold it.
Now, how do you do you pull it? Because obviously it's elastic.
Yeah, I mean, there's some obviously giving it. I'm not pulling it. I'm just keeping it between my thumb and my first finger, and I'm just naturally letting it slip through, and obviously it's coming off there. So there is a little bit of tension there, but not loads. So you want to make sure you do that. The temptation for quickness is to wind it on your machine.
Yes.
Now, that's all well and good, but it's going to pull that elastic taut, all right? And in doing so, you're not going to get the result that you want from the shearing. It's going to be too tight.
Right, okay.
All right? And it's not going to feed through. You want it wound loosely on the bobbin.
So sort of tight enough so it stays on, but
Yeah.
not too tight.
That's it. That's it. I mean,
Okay.
don't obsess about it too much. If you hand wind it on, you'll be right.
Right, okay.
And with that as well, with the shearing elastic, if you do a full bobbin, that'll do at least a sleeve.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't want to play what we call bobbin chicken
Not
and run
in-
out
not-
of bobbin.
Because you can't start another bobbin halfway through.
That's it. And
So if you run out, do you have to unpick it? And
yeah, if you run out, what's the worst that can happen? The unpicker is your friend.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
So, it's okay. Right, I'm just going to pull this up now.
so you put your bobbin filled with elastic
Yeah,
in the bottom.
yeah.
And does that thread through all right?
So this can be the tricky part. Like I've just dropped the needle and it's pulling on the bobbin now. I'm just going to see. Right, okay, so what you might have to do with this, I figured this out whilst I was waiting, is to just take a piece of scrap fabric, now you've got the bobbin in, because it's a drop-in bobbin, it's all secured in there, and just do a couple of centimetres, couple of inches worth of stitching, and that'll just make sure it's bringing the bobbin to the top, he says, and it's not done it. I told you I'd have problems with this bit. Let's just try again.
So so you put it through the little slot like you would normally.
Yeah, so through all of your normal tensioners, etc., as you would normally. I'm just going to put it in again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Right, you just need to bring that elastic to the top.
Yes,
Depending on what machine you've got. And it's like the gathering stitches. You need to do so because you need to leave some kind of tail on the end. There we go, we've got it, look. So
Okay.
I've just done some sewing.
So give it a couple of goes.
Yeah, you'll get there. That's it. That's
Can you
the
do,
hardest
will it
part
come
done.
through if you sort of hand wind it down and pull it up? Will it come through?
Yeah, like I tried that first, and depending on the strength of your cotton, whether it will pull up that elastic, because obviously the
course.
elastic's a little bit
Yes, I
thicker
thought
than,
that. Yes.
than the cotton that you'd usually use. But there's the remedy for it. If you can't get it up there, then just use a bit of scrap fabric on these modern
Right.
machines just to sew through, and that'll sew the elastic on as it's done there, and it's brought it to the top.
Brilliant.
So now I've got my
That's
tails.
a really good tip.
There you go. There's always a way around
There's always a
things.
way round, yes, especially when we've got you here to give us some advice as well, because you've
Right.
done all of those ways.
That's it, you figure it out. So this is the sleeve, and it's absolutely beautiful. You can see from the underside, you can see the white shearing elastic there, and there's 4 rows of shearing, and it's just beautiful. Gathered up, it creates this lovely effect. And that's it on the right side. So that's what we're going to be creating. That's what I'm going to show you now, because this for me is the most exciting
That is really
bit.
exciting, because that looks like dead professional, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and again, you see a lot of this shearing in
Yeah,
clothes
that's
on
it.
the high street,
All over,
and
yeah.
big designers doing it, and shearing.
Well, it's very
elastic.
70s, isn't it?
It is, and there's a lot of that coming back, and I'm
loads
loving
of
to
it.
see it. I really
Yeah, that's
am.
why I love that fabric, the 70s one, because
Yeah.
it's
Well, it is very 70s. In
gorgeous,
fact, when I
isn't
put
it?
a picture up of my sister on Instagram, a lady put up and said, I can't remember her name now, so sorry about that, but she says, I wore a dress like that in the 70s.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I said, it's all
exactly.
coming back. So what I've done, I've prepared this, is I've done a rolled hem along the bottom, the cuff of this sleeve, because that's what it looks like before it's gathered up. You can see there, you've got the sleeve head, I've got my notches in for my front and back. And that's the hem. That's what we're going to be gathering up, all of that fabric, to create that nice sheared
Right.
cuff. So I've rolled the hem. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this pin hem. You can use just a normal foot and turn it over again, just very slightly, pin it, baste it, and then go for it. Or you can use the rolled hem foot, which is what I've done on my machine at home. Now, again, with a little bit of practice, it's actually an easy tool to use. I don't know if I've got one in here, actually, just to show anybody at home what a rolled hem foot looks like. But it's this one, very small. But basically, it's got a little curl in it, and it curls the fabric.
Now, the 570A that's on screen at the moment, that's back in stock. The rolled hem foot comes with that machine.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There you
Perfect.
go. Most of them do
Yeah,
now,
perfect.
which is fab, you know, because it is a useful tool.
Right, okay.
What I would suggest when you're doing a rolled hem is to start the hem off without the fabric in between that little coil, that curl, just a couple of centimetres, stitch it down and then ease the fabric into that curl, and the foot does all the work for you. You've just got to make sure
Wow.
you're feeding it through.
Fantastic.
And you get that lovely, again, professional rolled hem.
Yeah, that looks beautiful, doesn't it?
It's perfect for finer fabrics.
Yes.
You know, for chiffons and things like this, even, you know, the bottom hem. And again, if you've not got an overlocker, perfect way to hem a lightweight garment.
Oh yes, that's true, isn't it? Well, once you've worked out how to use it, then great for finishing seams as well.
Exactly,
Lovely.
exactly. Right then, let's get on to the exciting bit, the shearing. Let's hope this works. Now, okay, I'm just going to put my machine to about a 3 in stitch length. All right?
Okay, so a little bit longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer than you'd normally have. And again, tension at whatever you use your machine at normally. I've got it on a 4 here. It's usually about a 4 or 5. We're just going to use the foot as the guide for this. So we're going to run this row of stitches along that rolled hem now. I'm sewing on the right side of the fabric. That's really important.
So that the elastic's on the back.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes, making sense.
And I'm going to sew that seam. So let's give it a whirl, using the foot as the guide along the edge.
So you don't pull the fabric, you just sew.
No pulling of the fabric, and you can see.
Oh wow!
It's gathering it there. Look.
So do you have to hold it behind to?
Yeah, I'm just guiding it. I'm not pulling it.
Right,
I'm
okay.
literally just guiding it like you would sew an ordinary seam.
Oh my God, that's magic.
I love it.
Did you reverse stitch at the beginning?
No. No,
Right.
I've not done a back tack. And the reason
Okay.
for that is because, again, the elastic is thicker. And all of this, the reason I've left the tails on the end there is because when we sew up the sleeve seam, the underarm sleeve seam, all of those elastics are going to get caught.
Ah, okay.
And at that stage, you want to make sure that you're trapping all of them into that seam, and you can use a smaller stitch length than you normally would to make sure that you've absolutely got it. And then if you're overlocking or zigzag, that'll catch it as well.
So does it not like back tacking then, the elastic?
No, I've
Okay.
tried it, but
And it didn't, it doesn't like, oh, good. So you just make sure that you definitely sew over the ends.
yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it? It is like magic.
It is. It's such a lovely detail to this dress as well. Again, don't use your thread snips if you've got one of those machines at this point. It's just like gathering. I'm going to lift the needle and I'm just going to pull it out. Now, you have to give it a little bit of a tug because there's some tension on that elastic. And again, I'm just going to leave a nice thread tail there. So there we go. We've got the first row of shearing, and it's curling up, and it's like a lettuce leaf
It's like a
hem
lettuce,
or whatever. It's really good. Again, just make sure before you start your next row of stitching that you take the elastic. It's pinging everywhere.
You've got about 5 minutes.
Oh, right, okay, let's go for it. Let's get this sleeve done at least, and so we can see what's going on here. I've got the thread. Okay, so again, we're leaving a tail. Now, what we're going to do is line up the edge of the foot with the line of stitching that we've just sewn. So now we're going to get a nice even amount. So I'm just putting the foot down there, drop the needle. So the foot now is against the line of stitching that we've just sewn. Again, just taking that point of reference on your sewing machine, and we're just going to sew again.
But I presume you have to pull the fabric.
So this is where, yes, you want to pull the fabric a little bit now to get it underneath. Just gently.
Yeah, it's not massive, is it?
No.
That looks loads easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, as I said, the bit really is just making sure that you've got the machine threaded properly in the first place.
Yeah.
Once you've got that, try it out on a little bit of test fabric, an offcut of the fabric that you're going to use. That's such a good thing as well. Any seams that I'm doing, I'll give it a little try on some little
all the bits in between.
First.
Yeah, that's really worth it.
Just to make sure before you go to the actual garment that everything's
Well,
set
you always
up
get
rightly.
lots of offcuts between all the pattern pieces anyway.
Exactly.
So that's a really good tip.
Yeah.
And I mean, sheer and elastic is so inexpensive as well, isn't it? But, you know, what an amazing thing.
It is. And the thing is, like, if you do just try it out first, try it on a scrap of fabric that you've got. Give it a go, whether it's on this dress pattern that you've bought today, or whether it's for something else, or just to give it a go. It's really fun to try. And again, just pull it and make sure that you leave enough of a tail there. So now you can see it's starting.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
To take shape. You're going to do that 4 times.
Okay, or more.
Or more if you want a more exaggerated
yes,
cuff.
I think I would. I'd go for like a couple of good 2 or 3 inch cuff.
Yeah,
amazing,
exactly. So just to round up quickly then, so that's how you do that. I'd obviously do that another 2 more times.
Thank you so much. That's been so useful.
No, that's absolutely a pleasure.
Message. Brilliant demo. There you go. Simple.
Fantastic.
Paula. Thank you, Paula. It was, wasn't it? I've learned so much.
There you go.
Really
Obviously,
lovely.
there's a lot more to it. You'd set in the sleeves. You'd sew then the underneath of the sleeves so they look like that. And then you'd sew those in, matching your notches. 1 notch for the front, 2 notches for the back. And then once you've done that, all you're doing then, you can see it's starting to look like something now. You've got your gathered layers. So just very quickly, the top skirt has 2 pieces. And the bottom skirt has 3 pieces. They're all cut on fold, and you run your lines of gathering stitches along the top, the same as we did with the neckline. Okay. You pull them up to fit that bottom bodice piece. A quick tip from me is to make sure you've quartered these pieces, your side seams, and then the centre front and centre back.
Right.
And then the same for the bottom tier as well. Sew those all on, neat them off with an overlocker, and then just to finish is your tie, which is this bias binding that I've managed to prep. I've just done a long strip in the same fabric, or if you were colour blocking, you could go for a different colour on the neckline.
Oh, that would be lovely, wouldn't it?
And you're just going to sew that wrong side first, open it out, sew along the centimetre seam, and then fold it over that neckline. It's a bit hard to demonstrate, and over those gathers, and you'll catch all those lovely gathers in with a nice
really gets
binding
a neat finish, doesn't it? Well, thank you so much. That's been brilliant. I love the sharing. It's lovely. So we will see you back here in an hour.
You will do.
With the next one.
Thank you.
What's the next one called?
We're doing the Amberley dress.
The Amberley. That's the one that's behind me, the Amberley. I just can remember what it was called. That's lovely. But that was great, lovely. So if you've got any questions for Adam at all, please send them in for the next hour, for 11 o'clock when he comes back. So the pattern for this one is the Petworth pattern. Here it is here. The size ranges from size 8 to 22. You've got really nice, good quality paper pattern pieces in here, which is fantastic because it means you can use it again. Sussex Seamstress, her website address is there and all the details. So she has lots of YouTube tutorials as well. Now, if you've bought the fabric and the pattern, write down today's date and then watch Adam back because his tips were fantastic. So the fabric that he was just working with is this beautiful lilac. Oh, I'm just going to show you some pictures of other dresses that have been made. These are from the company website. And then this is a picture of Danielle, Adam's sister, wearing it. So the fabric that dress is made in is gorgeous, black with sort of vintage roses on it. Now this bundle's got 4.5 meters in it, and there's enough fabric in there to make up to the size 22, which is the largest size. But you save £10 by buying the 4.5 meter piece like this. It's a beautiful, beautiful challis fabric, which has got a lovely drape to it with these lovely roses, and that's the one that is in the model that Danielle was wearing. But isn't it beautiful? Love that one. The fabric that Adam was just doing his demonstration with is this gorgeous, it's called lilac, but it's like a French lavender. It's a lilac-y with a tone of grey in it. Again, that's 4.5 meters. You save £10. There's only 5 of these bundles remaining. So if you want it, you really, really do, please put it in your basket and check out. You can check out as many times as you want between now and midnight. You will only be charged 1 P&P. But for shows like this, when we get to very low numbers to single figures, they do sell out. So if you want that, you need to check out. I think this is my favourite one. Real 1970s vibe. I love this. The colours in it are really sort of deep petrol teal, black, orange, peach, and the background is a really sort of grey cream. It's gorgeous. I mean, you imagine wearing this. It says on the pattern, actually, this is perfect for sort of that mid-season wear. You imagine wearing that. You could put a long sleeve top underneath it or a polo neck or just wear it with a cardigan. £52.91. That's enough fabric, 4.5 metres fabric to make up to the largest size. That is a stunning fabric, and it's exactly the right weight and feel that the pattern suggests. So it's just nice to be able to buy the fabric that you know is going to work with the pattern. I love that one. If you want something with a bit of a blue, there's this one. It's got lovely, it's like a deep, almost like a tealy blue with a spot. Tiny polka dot, and then these beautiful leaf and floral print all over it. Again, it's in that chalet lawn, so it's 100% viscose, drapes beautifully, doesn't crease, which is great. And as Adam shows you, it sews and presses really well. So, you know, once you've sewed the seam, once you've pressed it, you get a really nice finishing. That's the Showering Vine Ocean Blue, 4.5 metres, £61.91. But that is with a £10 saving, which is fantastic value. When you think you need to buy the pattern, which is £15, but with the £10 saving, that means your pattern will only be a fiver. Then this gorgeous blue one. This was my favourite. Maybe I can't really decide. This was my favourite, but I actually like that 1970s one. This is the Princess Kate. The Princess Kate Chalet Lawn. Now, everything that we have of this fabric is now in the bundle, so you can't buy this separately at all. If you want this fabric, you need to buy the bundle. It's got a beautiful, like, deep clotted cream colour background with a navy and French blue print and lovely shots here of there of tomato red, like the centre, the flowers and the veins and the stamens. So what a beautiful print. Again, perfect for all season wear, obviously, you know, lovely in the summer. And it says in the pattern, which I quite like this description of, I was reading it, flattering relaxed fit that suits every body shape, on trend and perfect for spring autumn transition wear, light enough for warmer days, wear with a cardigan for the slightly chillier ones, relaxed and comfortable. It works just as well at the office as it does for an evening out or a country walk. I love that. I'm thinking, yes, I'm going to put my wellies on with my long flowing dress, walk the dog. Be lovely through the meadows. Love that. But it's true, isn't it, that it is that kind of mid-season wear. Beautiful dress. So if you want that one is £61.91. Again, say there's a £10 saving on all of these bundles, which is fantastic. This bundle, if everyone who has this in their basket checks out, this bundle will sell out because it has been extremely popular. Now, the 570, which we have just got back in stock, that we were just talking about, that comes with the rolled foot, the foot that does the rolled edge. I think it's called the rolled foot, the rolled hem foot. So the Elna E570A, it is back in stock. I'm going to be viewing it in the next hour. Now, if you want this machine, it is a brilliant machine. It's only £599, but you can split it over 3 equal payments of £199.66. Now, the great thing about that is it's interest-free. It just makes it easier to spread the payments if you don't want to put it all in 1 month. When you put your first payment through, which will happen when you order, you will be sent the machine straight away. The other 2 payments will be taken out at monthly intervals, but you will get the machine. It doesn't cost any extra. It's just a service that we provide because loads of you have asked for it. Anyway, I'm going to be using it in the next hour. You'll love it. It's a brilliant machine, really, really simple to use, but it's got everything you'll need. So if you're a beginner to sewing, it's great for that. Or if you've got an older machine and you're thinking about upgrading, it's a really sort of all-purpose machine. We've always been so popular with you because everyone has a different price point about what machine they want to use. But I'll show you all about it in the next hour. But the Elna E570A, £599. Gorgeous. And you know it's Elna, it's quality. We had it back in yesterday and the quarter of the stock went immediately. It's a great machine. Great machine. And it's only £3.95 for the postage, which is fantastic, isn't it? £3.95. So that's all of the bundles. Anyway, I will be back with you in a few minutes' time with the Snowman family, Sydney, Sylvia and Sam. Will be coming to you. I'm going to show you how to make them. I've also got some Snowmen fat quarter bundles and some other kits as well. So £19.99 and you get the Snowman pin badge that I'm wearing. I can't even pin it to it. Can't do it. I know I could see where it was. I just can't do that mirror thing. And it comes with the Snowman badge as well. So I'll see you back here in just a couple of minutes' time.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out. Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again.
In need of a crafting fix? There are so many ways you can watch Sewing Street and Yarn Lane. Sewing Street is live from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day on Freeview 72 and Sky 670. Alternatively, if you want to watch us on a tablet or on the move, you can tune in on our YouTube channel, the Sewing Street app, or the websites at www.sewingstreet.com and www.yarnlane.com. You can watch past shows on Sky 670 from 1 p.m. every day, as well as our YouTube channel, the app, and our website. Yarn Lane is on from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Visit our programme guide to find out when and what's on, so you never have to spend a minute without us.
Hello, I'm Jane Greenoff and I'm stood in the barn here at Pink's Barn in Gloucestershire, England, which is where I live with my husband, and I stitch. I think I stitch in my sleep. I've certainly been stitching for over 30 years now, and by stitching I'm talking about counted cross stitch, or counted embroidery in general terms. I also collect old samplers, and I've got one to show you here. Now, this smashing, it was actually stitched in 1796 by a little girl of 8 or 9, and it's absolutely charming. So I collect antiques, I love to draw and create antiques for the future, and look forward to seeing you all on Sewing Street sometime in the future.
Stuck for ideas for the perfect gift? Why not get them a gift card? You can buy Sewing Street and Yarn Lane gift cards loaded up with anything from £10 to £500. Shop our gift cards online at www.sewingstreet.com or www.yarnlane.com, or purchase them via our UK call centre on 0800 001 44 33.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers, and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters, and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
And welcome back to Sewing Streets with Sydney, Sylvia and Sam, the Sewing Street Snowman. That's a lot of S's, isn't it? They were called Mr. Snowman and Mrs. Snowman. I decided that was really boring. So they're now Sydney, Sylvia and Sam. So these were designed by me and Amy. And the idea behind it was they were inspired by the badge. So if any of you got the Christmas badge, when we've done our Christmas shows before, the snowmen have been designed inspired by them so that the faces are the same and the arms and everything. And if you buy the kit, the snowman badge comes in the kit. So you can even put it on one of your snowmen. So let me show you what happens. So in the panel, you get all the pieces to make all 3 of them, including their hats and their scarves. So like Sydney here, he's got a hat, you can take his hat off. So the reason I did it was because I thought, you know, you either want to use this as a decoration for Christmas, or you want to use it to give to children, or use as a toy. And well, my kids will, and me as well, love dressing things up. So the hats and the scarves come off. But then I thought, being as, you know, Yarn Lane, and how much I love Yarn Lane, that wouldn't it be nice if you knitted him a hat as well? So I have also in the pattern instructions, there is a knitting pattern for the hat and the scarf for each of the snowman as well. So it's up to you. The panel comes with the fabric hats and scarves, but if you want to knit them one, now I've got to get the right hat on the right snowman, so because they're slightly different. So if you want to knit him, look, and then Sydney has a matching scarf as well. So there we go. You can knit his hat, and the full pattern is in there. So there's Sydney with his scarf on, and the pattern is in there. Now, because I get a bit bored with knitting, no, I don't get bored, I'm bored with doing the same pattern, I designed slightly different patterns. So Sylvia has a slightly different hat, but then I went through a slip stitch on the scarf, because I learned that recently. We had Chloe Birch on from West Yorkshire Spinners, and she showed me how to do the slip stitch, which is a really clever way that looks like you're changing colour, but really easily. So this has got a slip stitch on, so you just take that one off, because I think, you know, that if you like knitting, or you know someone who knits, do both. Make the fabric one, make the knit them, and then you can keep changing them. So there he is, ready to go out. And then I prefer the knitted ones, to be honest. I think they're so cute. And then with Sam, the baby one, I'll take his hat. So he has a fabric hat and scarf, but you can also knit him a hat. And again, his hat pattern is slightly different because it folds over at the top. So there's him with his hat on, and then he's got a really simple scarf. So they're really, honestly, they're really easy to knit. They're knit, purl, bit of rib, bit of garter, nothing difficult. Very, very simple. I have put together a bundle for you of the yarn to make these. I'll go through that in a minute, but you don't have to do the knitting. It's just if you want to, the pattern is in there. So if you want them to be knitted, oh look, that's annoying me because look, the front of the scarf's the wrong way round. That's better. So let me put them up. Right, and I'm going to show you what's in the bundle. So with the hats as well, the hats are reversible. So this is on the panel. So if you want Sylvia to wear a spotty hat, she is fully reversible. So it looks like she's got a spotty hat on the lining. And then, so you don't have to be a knitter. I just thought I would give you both options. So if you want the knitting pattern, you can, but the fabric hats and the fabric scarves come in on the panel. And the Sydney's hat is, well, it's reversible, as in it's black on the inside, but he has a little bit of holly. Ooh. There we go. He has a bit of holly on his hat, and then Sydney's hat is reversible as well if you want it to be, because he's got green on the inside. So in the kit you get, for £19.99, you get full instructions of how to make it, to make Sydney, Sylvia and Sam. So there's all the instructions with all the pictures of how to do it. You don't actually need much else to go with it. You need some soft toy filling, which we've got, some weighted filling if you want to. I didn't put any weights in mine, but if you want them to stand up or use them as little door stops or ornaments, you might need that. Some little buttons to put down the front of them for their buttons on their fronts, just little buttons, and some black stranded cotton for the mouth, and that's it. It doesn't really need very much. So there's all the instructions for making them, shows exactly. The great thing is they're all made in exactly the same way. A Sam's hat is a little bit different, that's it, but other than that they're all made in the same way. And then I have written the knitting pattern on the back for doing them all, so you can, I mean, you can just make it up, if you like, really. You know, you don't have to do the slip stitch one. It was just I fancied doing a different type of scarf, but that's all on there. So those are the instructions. Obviously, you'll be needing the fabric panel. That's kind of important. Now, this is completely brand new today, never been on air before. Brand new for you and exclusive to Sewing Street. Now, this panel makes all of them. And they're sewn scarves and hat. Now you can see from here, so it's got, this has taken some working out for me to do the pattern, for poor Amy to get it all together. And the so you've got, like, you know, 6 pieces for Sydney's body, you've got 6 pieces for Sylvia's body, you've got all the pieces for Sam's body. They've even got the eyes printed on them, which took some working out because the eyes are not in the centre. So I had to make them, and so that's not working. Look at those are the noses. Look, Amy's put on them the lines that you get on a carrot. They've got those sort of like lighter lines. The arms are all on there with a sort of wood print, because obviously all snowmen's arms are made of sticks. You've got holly for Sydney's hat. There's Sydney's scarf. Look, you can see. So here's Sylvia's featuring down the bottom here. She's got a slightly smaller nose, and obviously she's got. You can choose which you have on the outside and which you have on the inside. There's Sylvia's body. And then it gets smaller. So now look, there's Sylvia's face. And now we get round to Sam. And obviously you see his hat is slightly different and he has a green lining on his. So it's all in there. It's probably our most packed, because normally on our panels there's enough room to put in other little pieces. But there is no room to put in other pieces on this one. But there is no waste on this one at all. So it is jam-packed. And I even got Amy to put like the red, she's put red ribbon onto his hat as well. This is really busy. Hannah's told me it's so busy. There are loads of you. Check it out. Which is weird talking about that since it's mine, but there we are. Also, most importantly, the badge. The badge. So now can you see the badge really close? She's zooming in like an aeroplane. I'll move it. There we go, like an aeroplane. I don't know how well you can see it, but I had got a picture of this before I designed it. So his arms, if you look, well, you can see, when you get your badge, you'll see the arms and the hands have got like 3 little bits exactly the same as this. The only thing is different is its nose is facing slightly sideways, but you could sew yours on facing sideways, and it's got the black hat. So in the kit, you get the instructions, the panel, and the badge. So you can put the badge on one of the snowmen if you like. I guess what you'd have to do is do that before you sewed it together, because it's got the back on it. You wouldn't be able to get the back in, but you could do it on there, or you just wear it yourself. But you could just poke it in, couldn't you? So also, if you want to knit the hat and the scarf, I've put a little bundle together. Now, this is exactly what I used to knit it. So you've got 25 grams of red, 25 grams of green, but I've put in 100 grams of white, because you might use more white than the reds and the green, because those are the colours that I've used. But by putting in the extra, it's that's the code for the kit. She'll do that in a minute. We'll do that in a minute. She was on the bundle. Sorry, Hannah. I've been rushing her this morning. I'm going faster than she is this morning. So it's £2.99, and that's all the yarn you'll need to knit for all 3 of them. In fact, I had a bit left. I had lots of the white left over, but I wanted to give you plenty so you could mix and match the colours. I knitted Sydney's hat and scarf, and he looked like a football supporter, so I unpicked it and put green around the top of it. And I think he still looks like he's going to a football match, but hey, you can knit whatever colour you. But if you want, for that, you will also need what I used, because the ends of each of the hats have got a little pom-pom on, and I used the purple one. And the way you make this is you just put the red yarn and the green yarn together and wind them around the pom-pom make it at the same time, and then you get a multicoloured pom-pom. So if you want to make the pom-pom, and you need 4mm knitting needles. If you haven't got them, then if you go on the website, you'll see them down below there. So if you want those, there is the bundle with the panel. Right. So we have sold loads of these already. So hundreds. So if you want to make the snowmen, the whole family, Sydney, Sylvia and Sam, with their fabric hats and fabric scarves, and they're reversible, and all the details and the twiggy arms, and they're all scaled perfectly so that they actually work. And I know they work because, well, what happens is I make them. I then give the pattern pieces to Amy. She makes them into something that looks beautiful because I've usually made them in some random fabric. Then when I get the panel back, I make them again to take the photographs, to put in the instructions. And then when I have to do the demonstration, I make them again so I know that it all fits together because these are quite twiddly fiddly pieces. When you make it, they are all made in the same way. Start with the big one. Start with Sydney. And then once you've worked Sydney, then it's easier to go smaller and do it the other way. So everything you need is on the panel. And remember, full instructions, including my free knitting pattern. The email address, Amber Makes email address is on the back. So if you have any problems at all or you've got any questions, please just let us know and send us pictures of yours. And you also get the Snowman badge in there too. Now, it's very, very busy, so please continue to, get it in your basket. Please do check out. The other thing that you will need for these, and there's more than enough here, is toy stuffing. I haven't included in the kit because I know lots of you have it. You will have more than enough in this bag. You do stuff them very firmly because it helps them to stand up, but you will have more than enough. And then the last thing is Amy has also designed a matching fatter quarter panel because we've done a few of these and we know that you love them. So we call them fatter quarter because a fat quarter is 50 by 72 centimetres or something like that. Yes. 50 by 56 in the UK. So these are fatter quarters. They are 70 by 50. Yes, so it's half a metre by. So you get more than a normal fat quarter. So on my fatter quarter panel, because they're half of 112. Yes, so there's 56. So this is 50 by 70. So on the fatter quarter panel, this is nothing to do with making the snowman. Everything you need to make the snowman is on the panel. But if you like the prints and you want to make some more snowman things, we've got one fatter quarter has got the red knitting that's on the scarves. If you like the knitting on the scarf, look, it's the same as this. Then you've got a fatter quarter of knitting. You've got a fatter quarter of snowmen, and that's got all of them on it. There's Sydney and Sylvia and Sam, and they're exactly the same as these snowmen because they've got the same colour hats and everything with a white spot. We've got another fatter quarter that's like a charcoal grey background, and that's just got Sam on it. Sam and some snowflakes with his little arms. And then the final fatter quarter on the panel is got a pale grey, and that's all of them holding hands. I like the way that they're making Sam jump up. He's not allowed to be like, he or she. I gave him a asexual name. So it could be a boy or a girl. Samantha or Samuel the Snowman. So that's the other one. And then across the top of the fatter quarter, you've got little individual snowmen. So you could use those for a applique or use it on a board or sew it onto something. And then some labels, which you can use for your makes, but you can also use for to use as gift tags or to sew onto things. So for £19.99 you get the 4 fatter quarters, you've got all the labels and the little snowmen as well. So that's the complimentary one. Now obviously you don't need this to make the snowmen, but I know that you always often ask us afterwards, I like the prints, where can we buy them separately? So we've done this special fatter quarter panel for you. Exclusive as well to Sewing Street, so you can't get this anywhere else. And it's brand new today. Shall we show you, shall we? Me. Shall I show you how to make it? Right, I'm going to take my instructions with me. I might even take my snowmen with me because I might need them. But they can come with me. Right, I'm just setting them all up. They're all a little bit, well, they're not undressed. They are, yeah, you know, this is like you've just come in from the snow and everybody's wet and their hats and their scarf is on their eye, their hat's all over their eyes, and you just want a hot chocolate and everyone's crying and you wish you'd never gone out, and someone's scarf's sticking up in the air. This does need arranging. Actually, luckily Amy took the photos of these, because if I'd done them, they'd have scarves all over the place. Look at that. There we go. Anyway, so what you need to do, first of all, I've got my panel here, is cut everything out. Now, a bit like Adam said in the previous hour, there's a lot of pieces here. So press the whole thing first and then cut them out. Now, it's really important with all of the Amber Makes panels, but in particular this one, you need to keep the labels. Really, really important, and they need to be at the right place. So cut them out and then just cut the little label out and pin it to the top. And if you pin it to the top, you know, well, A, which is the top, what the piece is, and which way round it is. So each of the snowmen have a slightly different print. So Sam has got a little snowflake, and I think Sylvia's got a different snowflake, and Sam has got spots. So you cut them all out and then pin them on to the right places. And then we get arms, everything. So I just cut them out into groups and then I cut them out individually. So just take your time with this. It's really important. Now, all the seam allowances are in here. You don't need to think about that. Just cut them out, pin the labels on, and then you'll know what's what, and put them into separate piles. And as I just said, start with Sydney. He's the biggest one, so he's the easiest one. Then once this exactly the same technique, slightly different measurements for the odd thing, which I'll talk you through, but other than that, the technique is the same. So you start off by taking 2 arms, and this has got a little bit creased in transit, which is annoying because I don't like working with creasings, but I've had them all in a bag. It looks very woody. I love the sticky effect. So you take 2 arm pieces. They are labelled right and left. You pin them right sides together, like so. I brought my own pins this time. Otherwise, what happens, I put these pins back in and I've got random pins. Now, there is a 5mm seam allowance in this throughout, which is a small seam allowance, I know, but these are little pieces. Now, it might look fiddly. It's okay, it's fine. As long as if you're a patchwork, you're used to your 1/4 inch, same as a 5mm seam allowance throughout. Just take it slow and it's fine. So start off on one side of the arm and sew together with all seams, and it says this on the instructions, reverse stitch at the beginning of every seam unless I tell you otherwise. And the only reason I wouldn't is if you were gathering, which you're not. So when you get to a little curvy piece, just lift the foot up and pivot. Now, if you can slow your machine down, if you've got that setting, which there is on this 570A, do that, because you don't want to go over this. You've got to keep the seam allowance. Now, stitching round a tight curve like this can be tricky to get it really even, but do you know what? It doesn't matter. This is supposed to be a stick. It's not supposed to be really even. So if it's slightly jaggedy and your seam allowance isn't perfect all the way around, don't worry about it. It's a snowman. I think I'm going a bit slow. I need to go a bit more hair. So that's all you have to do. And now, when you do Sylvia and Sam, obviously their arms are a little bit smaller, so a little bit, you need to go a bit slower. But one thing I would say is they are perfectly possible to do. With Sam, his arms are little and fiddly. So if you don't want to do it, don't give him arms. Don't have to have arms. Don't have to have arms. So there's the one arm sewn together. Before you turn it right sides out, let me move that out of the way, just make some small snips into the edges. These are very small pieces. Make sure you don't cut the seams. So when you come to turn the arms out, to get that curve, you need to take out a wedge of fabric, but just do it gently. So, about that much. Take out that wedge fabric. and then a wedge of fabric out of there. And then that will just help it to turn right sides out. Then you just turn it inside out. There's loads of different ways of doing that. You can use a stick, or if you've got one of those turning tools, you can do it with that. Just take it slow. You can push it from the other side and turn it right sides out. Then you will end up with, which one have I pinned on? That one. Right. So here's one I've already made, just to make it simpler. Here's one I made earlier. All my snowmen are falling over now. So, mine have got the wrong labels on. Yours will say Sydney, but mine says Mr. Snowman because we changed their names. On the instructions, it tells you need to make a mark. So you take one of the snowman body pieces and you make a mark. Now, this is where Sydney and Sylvia and Sam differ slightly. The measurement of this mark from the top to here is different for each of the snowmen because they're slightly different sizes. So just watch that. You then put the snowman arm on. Now, this may seem really weird, but once you've turned it right side out, stuff it and stuff it really firmly. The firmer it is, the better it will stand out. And then just tack across the bottom just to hold it in place. It just makes it a bit easier. Then you place the arm right sides together with the edge of this, but make it overlap a bit, so that it's not, the raw edges aren't lined up. I overlapped it about 5 mils. That just makes it extra secure. If they're being used and they're being played with, if the arms are tugged a bit, because it's only a 5 mil seam allowance, it's easier to rip them out. So just overlap them so it sticks out by 5 mils. Now the arm, put the top of the arm on that mark, and it needs to be facing upwards. That does sound a bit odd and counterintuitive, but there is a photo in the instructions that shows you. When I first did it, I did them facing downwards and then the arms went the wrong way. So just trust that one. So pin it into place and put the top of the arm at that mark, facing upwards, which is easy because the angle of the arms is slopey anyway. And then this is just a tack. This is just to hold it in place. So you need to sew this into place within the seam allowance. Or you can tack it by hand if you prefer. But that's just, it makes joining it together easier if you've sewn it into place already. Take the labels off the pieces as you go, because we now know what the top of that one is, so we don't need that one anymore. Right, you do the same with the other arm on the other piece. I've written this in the instructions, but where I've called parts of them lefts and rights, that means belonging to them. So not when you're looking at them. So if I show you, if you see what I mean. So if you look at Sydney, his right arm is this one, that's the one that belongs to him. It's not looking at him that's right. I mean, I know that sounds obvious, but it's important that you know which one's the right and left. So it's, and I had to keep doing it when I was looking at it, going, it's the arm that belongs to me. So his right arm is his right arm, not when you're looking at them. Does that make any sense at all? But it's important, and there's lots of right and left pieces anyway, so that's important. So you then sew the other arm onto the another piece. All of this is in the instructions. You really don't have to remember this. I can now take his label off his arm. Right, I'm going to sew the two body pieces together. Now this is the centre of the front of the body. The body is made up from 6 pieces, just because that was the only way I could work out. I thought snowmen, when I first designed it, were spheres, but they're not actually. They're ovals. I cannot tell you how many bits of snowmen I've got. In fact, the children were saying to me the other day, how many of you are ever going to finish those snowmen? How many have you got? I've got so many bits of them all over the house. Round ones, oval ones, long ones. And then I'd almost finished it and one of them went, oh, I think his neck's a bit wide. Anyway, you just sew it together from the top to the bottom, all the way down this centre seam. Right, so there's his front of his body. Now, there are 6 pieces to the snowman, so which I'll pin them all together. You end up with loads of little labels. My floor at home is covered in little labels. So they're all exactly the same, these. But it's just important that the top and the bottom look quite similar after they're cut out. So keep them labelled, because if you mix up the tops and the bottoms, they won't work. So take a nether piece. Now, this one is going to, right sides together, sandwich the arm in place. So you can see it's quite simple, isn't it? There's nothing complicated because it all works. It all will all meet up. Just join them. These curved seams are quite simple. Remember, when you sew over the arm, that the end of the arm will stick out, because we did that earlier. So make sure it still does. When you get to sewing over the arm, I'll show you in a minute, reverse stitch over it. It's really important, you know, that obviously if you want to make this for a child, I mean, you know, you have to think yourself what you put in it and how you do it and whether the piece is small and who it's suitable for. So do think that through, because obviously there are lots of little pieces, but they're all fabric, but there are lots of little pieces. But it's important, you don't want his arms pulled out. So that's why I've increased the seam allowance, well, put the overlap in there. But also, when you get to the arms, sew over them and then just reverse, go back over them again and back over them. Those arms will be very hard to get out now. Please make sure you sew this correctly, because that will take some unpicking. But it just gives them that extra bit of strength, which is important. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just take care that you don't catch the ends of the arms in. So make sure you sew, you make sure they're facing nicely, and you know, because you could easily get the end of that arm in otherwise. So Hannah says, these have been really popular. Thank you so much to everyone who's checked out. You know, it's really nice. This has taken Amy an hour. In fact, I came into the office and I said, I can't do it. I cannot make Snowman. I can't do it. And then they said, go back and try again. I thought, okay, I'll give it another go. So thank you so much, because, you know, and for Amy to get all the patterns right and lay it all in, it has taken us ages. So I really, really appreciate you all buying them. And I hope you enjoy them. Enjoy making them. I mean, I love them now. There was a point when I was fed up with Snowman. But, you know, the moment when it worked. But at least, you know I've put a lot of effort into getting them right and making sure they work and trying to create them in a way that makes it easier for you to do. So if you don't want to reverse stitch, it's sometimes easier, or you forget. Just go back over it. Just try and remember to do that, because it just gives it a bit of added strength. So we've now got 4 pieces on the body. So the last 2 pieces, you're making a bit like, it's becoming a rugby ball rather than a football. But remember to keep because I've worked out the pieces so that everything will join together. So do remember to get the top and bottom right. And send me pictures when you've done them. I'd love to see what your snowmen look like. And what colour you knit their hats and scarves in. And what you do with them. Where are you going to put them? Yeah, are they going to be toys? Are they going to go on the mantelpiece? Are you going to use them as doorstops? I think I'm going to keep mine in their knitted hats and scarves. I like them the best. But then I think, you see, I would change them round. Maybe like before Christmas, they could have fabric ones, and after Christmas. But they're not Christmassy, are they? They're just wintry. I did very specifically make sure they weren't Christmassy, because I don't think snowmen are. They're just wintry, aren't they? They're just general. Where are you going to put them? But nice, you know, we were talking earlier about starting your Christmas sewing, as in gifts. Doesn't have to be Christmas sewing. You can make armies of snowmen. Right. I'm just going to sew the final one on. Please, there are still some available. They are brand brand new today. Remember, in the bundle you do get the panel which contains the bits to make all 3 snowmen and their hats and scarves, and then in the instructions you get the knitting patterns as well, and you get the badge. Only one, so you'll have to get the snowmen not to fight amongst themselves. They have to choose who wears the badge, or they could take it in turns. So look, there's the body. Now, I did try to make it in less pieces than that, but I didn't get the shape. So there's his body. Now, we're not going to sew it together yet. We're going to leave that, put that to one side. Then you go onto the head. Now, when you start with the head, again, there are 6 pieces to this. Start off with the face. So there are 2 pieces for the face, 2 pieces for the side, and 2 pieces for the back. It's important that you put them the right way round, with the right side and the left side. It explains fully in the instructions about, it says, I can't remember which way I said it. It says, place the right face piece right side up and the left face right sides down on top. It's really important to do it that way. Otherwise, the eyes will be in different directions. But that's fine, because it just means your snowman will look like he's looking off in the opposite way. At the moment he's looking forward at his nose, so if you do sew your face pieces, because the face pieces, the head pieces, are exactly the same shape, all 6 of them, but if you sew his eyes slightly the wrong way around, then he will just be looking the other way. Mark a point 5mm from the top, just like there, just with a pencil or a fabric pen or whatever, and we're going to start stitching at that point. So put your needle down in the fabric through that point and go forward a few stitches and reverse a few. Don't go beyond that point, otherwise all the pieces won't match up. And then you sew again exactly the same with the other, 5mm seam allowance all the way down to the bottom. Now when you've sewn that one together, there you go, there's his eyes. So look, he's staring. I really wanted the eyes printed on there because I think putting the features on can often be the hardest thing. Unfortunately, you do have to sew the mouth on because it goes across. But by having the eyes printed on there, if you want to add any extra features to them, then do that before you cut the panel out. So if you want to give them a different coloured eyes, or you want eyelashes, whatever, you can embroider those on or use fabric pens. But do that, if you're going to embroider them, do that beforehand. I mean, you could personalise your snowmen. If you'll give him as a gift to somebody, or you want to write, I mean, I've called them Sydney and Sylvia and Sam, you can call them whatever you like. But you could embroider their names on the bottom of them would be nice, or put the child's name on that you're making them for, or adult, whoever. But if you are going to do any embroidering or embellishing, do it before you cut the panel out. It's a lot easier to do it because you can then put it in a hoop. But, you know, do think about what you're putting on. You know, I said before about what age children you're giving them to. So think that through first. But if you want to do anything extra. Anyway, so that's the face. You sew all 6 pieces together to make the head in exactly the same way as I did with the body. And look, there's one I made earlier. So now I've got a very strange head shape. It looks exactly like a ghost. And then there's the body shape. So the reason you leave them both open is because we're going to sew the head to the body. And this is why it's important that you get the top in the right place, because it will match. So to do this, don't get your arms sewn in. Pin it together at the outer edge. And then match each seam across. So match that seam to that seam. Now, if you don't match these up completely accurately, it doesn't matter, because the scarf is going to be tied round the neck. It's better for the fit if they match up, but visually the scarf will be hiding this seam anyway. So don't get too worried about it, but it will fit. And also, when you press it, if you press the seams of each to one side but place them in opposite directions, then you can nest the seams. So just pin them at every seam, like so, and then pin that seam. I mean, you can, if you want, make all 3 of them at the same time. That's what I did, is I made all 3 together. So I did all 6 arms. Then I sewed all the arms into the bodies. So I did it like a production line, just if you fancy it. And then they all finished at exactly the same time. But I would say, particularly if you're a little bit unsure, I would make the big one first and then do the other 2. So I'm just sewing really slowly now across all of these seams. But there's nothing complicated or tricky here. You just might have to take things a bit slowly, but it'll all match up fine. As long as you remember which is the top and the bottom, that's sort of important. And you know I know that because I sewed them around the wrong way once, don't you? Right, so there is, it does look like a snowman ghost now, does with his arms crossed. It's a sort of a slightly deflated snowman. Oh no, like really, really cross snowman. So we're now going to sew them together. So join, sew together, pin together the bottom. Then pin together the seam that joins the head to the body, making sure that that matches. Again, the scarf will cover this if it doesn't. Just give it a go. And then you're going to sew the seam to the head. Make sure you don't get any other bits caught in it. Now, when you sew the head pieces, because remember when I sewed the faces, I started at that top 5 mils. When you sew all the other pieces, you start at that 5 mil from the top. And by doing that, it means it will be circular. You don't sew beyond the 5 mils, you get a neater finish. And then pin it. When you're matching up things, it's easy if you pin at the bottom, tops, or any seams. Now, the only other thing that makes the 3 snowmen different is this part, and it's the size of the turning gap that you leave, just because I like to leave as small as I can so I can turn it out, but big enough so I can stuff it. So I've used a slightly different size for each one. That's the only difference. So if you're like me, you always forget the turning gap. Can't remember what it was for each one, but about that. Put pins in. It tells you in the instructions exactly what size turning gap to leave. 5 centimetres, I think it was, doesn't it, anyway? But it's different for each of them. So put those pins in. So now we'll sew from the bottom all the way up to the gap that you put in for the turning gap, and do a little reverse stitch, break the thread, start again at the next gap. Do a reverse stitch again, and then sew right across the seam that joins the head to the body, all the way around the head, right to the top, stopping at that point that's 5 mils from the top, which you don't need to mark anymore because you've sewn all the pieces together. Right, I'm going to show you what he looks like now. So we'll turn him right sides out, but then we'll have to turn him back again in a minute, but just so you can see what he looks like. So that's what he looks. He's starting to look more like a snowman, isn't he? He's like being born. But look, you can see now his arms go upwards. Well done if you've already got him, because they have been selling like the snow, thick and fast. Not anymore. More like rubbish and a bit slow, isn't it? If we get any snow. This is the only way, normal snow. But you know when they say, oh, it's snowing thick and fast, fantastic. Fantastic. So, or if you want your snowman to look a bit quirky, you could have one arm going up, one arm going down. And if you want to do that, then you can just sew one of them facing upwards and one of them facing downwards. In fact, I think maybe it was probably one of my prototypes was just like that. Now I am going to run out of time a bit, so I'm going to talk you through the next bit, because I would like to talk about the hat. So what you do now, turning right sides out again, I would, before you sew the base on, I would just do what I've done, just to make sure that you haven't got any little bits caught, or you haven't caught any arms, or there hasn't been, when you've sewn all the pieces, just to make sure everything's in place, because it's easier to sort that out at this stage. Now we're going to sew the base onto the snowman, and the snowman has a round base. So you need to quarter it. So flatten it out like this, and then put a pin in one seam and then put a pin in the other seam, just so you remember which those points are. Now this method is how the hat is made as well, so when I say quarter, you know what I mean. Now put those two pins together and fold that in half, and where the outer edge of that is, put a pin, and then fold that one in half, and where the outer edge of that one is, put a pin. Your bottom is now divided into quarters. So take the Snowman base, Sydney base, and fold that in half. And I just mark a bit with my nails, but put a pin in, because matching the pins is a lot easier. You can mark it, but I always find the marks on the wrong side. Once you've done it in half, put those pins together so they meet, and just mark where the fold is there. Unfold it. Yeah, I know you end up with a lot of pins, but it's more accurate this way. So now we've got a quartered base and a quartered body. So you match up one of the pins on the base with one of the pins on the body and pin them together. And then work all the way around like that. So just do the pins to start with. Match them on together. It's a bit twiddly, but just take it slowly. It's the only way you get a round bottom if you do that. And round bottoms are very, very important. And then you pin that one. Then what you do is between those points is you then pin it together. Now, as you see, it fits. If you find it doesn't, or you've used slightly bigger seam allowance, or when you're doing the small ones, you can make tiny snips into the bottom of the body, and that will make it open out more. But if you've used a 5mm seam allowance, what I do when I'm doing, or with anything where you're fitting a circle, if you stretch it between the two pins and then pin it together in the centre, you can then pin it in between those. And obviously the bigger the circle, the more pins you'll need. But it's a lot easier to have pinned it lots at this stage than when you put the sewing machine around it, so you can do that there. So that's the Snowman. You sew the base on and you turn it right sides out, and he's done. He's then got his, he just needs stuffing. I have just stuffed mine with just the normal toy stuffing, but really solid. If you want to make him weightier, maybe you want him to be a doorstop or a decoration. I mean, he does stand up, but if you want to stand him up better, then just make a small fabric bag and fill it with weighted filling. So we sell the polyester pellets, lots of different things you can use in them, but something like polyester pellets are better, or gravel or something. You can use dried rice, but there is the issue with it. If it got wet, it would swell up. So if you want to do that, when you stuff it, put them in a fabric bag. All you need is 2 squares of fabric, sewn right sides together, and then filled with pellets, sewn across the top. Put that in the bottom, and then stuff the rest of it really nice and stiff. Hannah's got a question. What about the nose? The nose is coming now. So stuff him, sew the turning gap closed. There's your Snowman. So let's talk about, because actually nose is next in my pile. So the nose is on the panel and it looks just like a carrot. So 2 carrots right sides together. It's really simple. And then we're going to sew down the one side and up the other, but not across the curve, because you don't want to sew, because that's the bit for gathering. Pivot at the top, sew down the other side, reverse stitch, cut. Then cut off the point, and then what I do, because you really want this to be in a point, is I just trim. I know it's only a 5mm seam, but just trim up there a bit and trim down there a bit. Oh, let's move the Snowman off my ironing board and faces. Turn the nose right sides out and poke it. Now, did I What a nice nose. Now, who was it? What have I done with it? No, I've lost. Oh, there we are. Now, someone said this to me the other day, and I can't remember who it was. A guest, that the best thing for turning out is a crochet hook. And I went, oh my God, I've got loads of those. I hadn't even thought about that. And honestly, it is. Because look, crochet hooks, I've got a plastic one here. They've got a nice point on, but it doesn't go through the fabric. So I went, and I can't, who was it who told me that? Honestly, can't remember. One of the guests on air. That's my new turning tool. It was a metal skewer. It is now a crochet hook. I'm living the dream. I could pick up so many tips. Give that a little press. Then what you do, I don't know whether I've got time to do this. Probably not. Right. I've got 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Shush. I haven't got long, have I? I haven't got long. Quick. Let me just get a needle. In my very neat needle case. Take a length of thread. I'm going to show you this just because. Cut it twice the length you need, which is about that times 2. And then fold it in half and thread the 2 ends into your needle. That means you've got a loop on the end now. See? You won't be able to see because I'm put it on the table. So now we've got a loop on the end. Then take the edge of this and 5 mils from the top, doesn't matter where, put the needle through, not all the way through, and then thread the needle through the loop. And that gives you a really nice secure start. Whenever I work a running stitch, I always do that. Work a running stitch all the way round the edge of the nose. Morning, Elliot. How are you? He's coming to see the snowman. Maybe he might make me even a cup of tea if I ask him really nicely. Right, so there we go. I've worked the running stitch and I haven't got any stuffing with me. Put some stuffing in, not too much, but just enough to fill it up, which I haven't got for some reason, but there we are. Then just pull up the gathers and then you have a little nose. And if I had some stuffing, it'd be very stuffed. And just over sew at the end. Then all you have to do is when you put him on his face, it's really simple. Let me take the scarf off so you can see him better. You just put, so you've secure that. Then all you have to do is put the seams of the nose, line them up with the seams of the front of the face. So he's just below the eye. So it's really easy to position. But in the instructions, there's quite a close-up photo of that. And then you sew it in place all the way round. Now do it twice so the nose doesn't come off. And then with the mouth, I just took a pencil or an erasable pen and I just drew a smile. And then I backstitched over it with stranded cotton and sew 3 buttons together. All the instructions for making the hats and the scarves, which are really simple, are in the instructions, so I won't go through that, but that's all in there. Right, I've got to just quickly go back through the panels. I'm going to move a minute. Can I leave my snowmen there? So, oh yes, I did take the instructions with me. You're absolutely right. And I've got the instructions. So, if you want to make Sydney, Sylvia and Sam the snowman, or call them whatever you like, then this is the kit, $19.99. In the kit, you get full instructions with all the walkthrough photos. So we have sold hundreds of snowmen, but if you want one, this is the first time on air. So if you want one, please do check out, because they'll go otherwise, I think, from what Hannah says. And in the instructions as well, there are the the pattern for knitting the hats and scarves. If you want to, you don't have to, because the panel does come with the fabric ones. I just thought you might like to, because I quite like the knitted hats and scarves. You also get the badge with the snowman on, who Sydney is a copy of. And then on the panel, you get everything you need, very close up, so as to, make this economical as possible. You have got everything to make all 3. So you've got Sydney is generally here. There's his hat, which is fully lined with the brim. He's got holly on as well. The instructions show you how to make the holly and fix it on. There's Sam, who's the child one, and all of his body and scarf. You see, look, he's got a little nose and Sam's is slightly bigger. And then at the bottom, you've got all Sylvia's pieces. She's got, well, they all have reversible hats, so you can choose which side you put on the inside and the outside, or just turn them round. And they've all got the scarves and the bases, everything is that you need is on there. If you want the fatter quarter panel, that features 4 fat quarters but bigger than normal. You don't need it to make the snowman. It features prints that have Sam and Sylvian, Snowman and Sam on them. So you've got like a grey print. The fatter quarters are bigger than your normal fat quarters, so they're 50 by 70 centimetres. So you get one print there that features all 3 of them if you want the snowman print. This dark grey print here, that's just got Sam on it. Sam and some snowflakes. But you know, you can make little gift bags with this, stockings, just things like, yeah, if you wanted to use them for appliquing names on things. Love this one, that's the knitting. So that's the same print that's on the scarf. It's a bit of knitting. Any of your Christmas or winter theme makes. And then there's Sam and Sylvia and Sydney in red. And they've also, the fatter quarter panel also features across the top like a little panel of all of them. So if you want, so they're just extras and some labels as well. Right, if you want to knit their hat and scarf, you don't need to, the fabric pieces come in it, but if you do want to, I've got a little bundle of yarn which has got 25 grams of red, 25 grams of green and 100 grams of white, but the pattern is in with the instructions, so you get that in with it. But for £2.99, if you want to use the same yarn that I did to knit them, then that's what you need, and you'll have plenty there to do all 3. I've given you extra white so you can change them around if you want to put white pom-poms. If you want the pom-pom maker that I used to make the pom-poms for the hats, that's on the website. Finally, the nativity scene. So there are other Amber makes for Christmas. So we did the nativity scene. It's on the shelf, but we've got a picture of it. It's on the shelf behind me. So if you want to make the nativity scene, that is it. In the kit, you get the full instructions, normal Amber makes instructions, which have all of the photos and the pictures and everything you need to know. This was I demonstrated this on the 12th of August. So if you want to go back and watch it. Now on the panel, there is everything. This is a really big panel. Everything you need to make the nativity scene. So you've got Mary, Joseph, Jesus, 2 shepherds, 3 wise men. So that's all of the people, all the different pieces, even the arms and the feet. And all of the pieces to make the stable. There's Jesus. So you've got, and there's a manger as well. So there's the inside of the stable. You've got a star that goes on the front. It's all bound. You've even got the floor of the stable, which has got hay on it. So this is the only way. So if you want a stable and you want all the people, or like me, you've got a knitted nativity scene and you want the stable to put in and you want some more people, it's perfect. It actually fits my knitted nativity scene, funnily enough. So everything you need to create the nativity is in this kit. But it's really, it's lovely for children because there's no small pieces on it. They're quite big. They've just got stuffing in them. You will need half a metre of Styleville foam as well, which makes the stable stand up. But if you have a look on the Sewing Street website, it will be on there. Right, next is the Christmas cottage. That was another one that we did. I did. Very limited in stock, this one. Hopefully we'll get some more in. So that's the Christmas cottage, which is a doorstop, and then you get an extra mini cottage that you can use as a pincushion or just an ornament. And that one has got Father Christmas's legs sticking out of the chimney. This was 1st of September was when I demoed this, and this is the panel, let me just show you so you can see, that makes the Tudor cottage. And what you can do is you can embroider it. So all of the extra pieces on here, you can applique pieces on. I did loads of embroidery on mine because I wanted to have French knots and stuff, so you can really add that. There's Father Christmas's feet, and there's the chimney. So there we go, that's that one. So if you want the Snowmen, please do put them in your basket and check out. Hannah says we're very limited on stock now. Thank you so much to those of you who have bought it. Please send me photos. Any questions you've got, on the back of the instructions is the Amber Makes email address. You can always message us. But thank you. Thank you for those of you who got it. And I hope you enjoy making the Snowman as much as I did eventually. Anyway, I will see you back here in just a couple of minutes with Adam, who's going to make this gorgeous dress that's behind me. I want this one. It's lovely. Oh, that's his sister Danielle wearing it. Isn't it lovely? So I'll just have a quick tidy up of my desk because I've left a bit of a mess. And I'll see you back in a couple of minutes' time.
Follow Sewing Street and Yarn Lane on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with what's coming up on the show, as well as being the first to know about our amazing offers. Get involved with our competitions that are exclusive to social media. And pick up some top tips from us too. Sewing Street have our very own app. You can now watch and shop from anywhere. Simply download the app from your app store onto your smartphone or tablet, then log in or create an account, and you're done. You can watch us live from anywhere, browse all our recently played items and pre-orders so you never miss out on any show deals, and message the studio to say hello at any time. And remember, you can check out as many times as you want and only pay 1 P&P all day.
Hello, I'm Emma Bradford from the Swift Quilting Company. I've been a quilter for 25 years. I began sewing and quilting by hand, but now I offer long arm quilting services and I run patchwork and quilting classes. You can see me regularly on Sewing Street demonstrating patchwork techniques. My top tip is there is no right or wrong way, only the way that works for you. There is no such thing as the quilting police. Outside of quilting, I am a qualified botanist and I enjoy riding my motorbike around the country. I hope to see you soon on Sewing Street.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay 1 postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay 1 P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day. If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page. Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters, and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
And welcome back to Sewing Street. We've had to clear up now. And we've got wonderful Adam back, who's got another Sussex Seamstress dress to show us called the Amberley, which is a place in Sussex, in West Sussex. Love this one. Look, so this is her standing next to me. I love this. It's a real classic sort of empire line where you've got the gathering just under the bust. I like the sleeve shape here. There's lots of you that have checked out. Should we give you a little 360? Got nice gathers across the back. Isn't that very, very flattering and easy to wear? It's a really lovely length as well. You can't really see because it's going below the table. So there's a picture. Hang on. This is a photo of someone who's made it from the Sussex Seamstress website. It's coming in a minute. There we go. So obviously you can always alter these to make them longer or shorter, but that's a really nice length, isn't it? Just below the knee. So that's in a checked fabric as well, but it looks really lovely, doesn't it? That's off their website. And we have it in a choice of fabrics for you today. So this is the pattern. Shall I open this one? I'm going to cut it because when I did the other one, I tore it and it was a right mess. Right, there we go. Oh, that's so much neater. I should have done that last time. So here we go. It is the same as the other. It's available. It goes from size 8 to size 20. So again, measure yourself to see what that size is. But look, there we go. If you want to see what the different sizes are. This Amberley pattern is ageless and timeless, super easy to wear and make, oversized for comfort and coolness. Wear as is for summer or layer with a long sleeve tee or turtleneck for the autumn winter. There we go. Which I love. I love having things that you can layer and wear with different things. I think that's why I love a pinafore, because you can wear them, you know, with a t-shirt or a long sleeve top or put a jumper on it. And this is perfect. But this is very flattering. I think it's the sort of thing you should always wear for Christmas because you can get a lot of Christmas dinner into this dress. So, you know, when you've been out for a meal, you don't have to loosen your waistband because it doesn't sit on your waist. Very flattering. I think I'm going to make one of these. Love that. So we have got a choice of fabrics for you. Now the fabric that is used in the model standing next to me is this one. So that is this. So there are in this bundle 3.5 meters of fabric, which is exactly what you need for the largest size, which is fantastic. 100% cotton, denim cotton fabrics, beautiful. And it's a 4 ounce. It's a 4 ounce denim, which means it's not like your jeans denim. It's dressmaking denim. Now it's a nice wide fabric, this. Oh yeah, that's 100. Is that 150?
Near enough, I think.
Yeah, I think so, isn't it? Yeah, because that's like a metre. I think it's about 150 wide. Anyway, it's what you need for this. You need 3.5 metres. Now there's Danielle, who's Madam's sister, wearing it. Looks lovely. So now you can see what it looks like with the long sleeve top.
Exactly.
Looks very nice. Beautifully styled. Did you make her do that?
Yeah, I says, what have you got in your wardrobe? I said, come on, get the accessories out.
Get the accessory. Yeah,
we ended
it's
up with
nice.
a top underneath, but I think that's really good going into autumn, winter.
Yeah.
It's an all-round,
It
all
is.
year round dress.
It's all round, particularly Christmas, because there's a lot of dinner you can get in there.
A lot of dinner you can get in. Oh, you're making me hungry now.
Yeah. Oh, so am I. Can't wait till lunch. So that's the fabric for this one. We also have got it in a more sort of, I would say, traditional denim colour. So you've got the darker denim. This is your more traditional denim colour. Again, 3.5 metres, £23.99. That's a fantastic price, isn't it?
Really
Third of the
good.
stock of this one has already gone. I mean, shall I open it out so you can have a better look at the colour? But it is what you kind of think of a traditional denim blue to be? Hard to describe a blue, really, isn't it? It's what you think of as blue jeans, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely bluer.
Yes, whereas the one that in the dress behind me, look, let me show you the difference, is a much sort of deeper indigo blue. This is more your traditional jeans blue. Depends what colour you like. So £23.99, I think that's a fantastic price to make a whole dress with. Now, we've got it also in the lighter denim. Again, 3.5 metres. So that's a really pretty blue. Light blue, 4-ounce wash denim bundle. But that's nice, but you could wear that with a little red top or a white top underneath. In fact, I think the mid denim would look nice with a mustard top.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it? And then I'd probably wear that with just a white top, but that's pretty. But there's the 3 denims together, just in case you are trying to choose. There's the dark, there's the medium, there's the light. Just depends what look you want, but they're all exactly the same denim. Now, I've also got 3 linen type fabrics for you. This is the one that Adam's going to be using in his demo. Love this. Gorgeous, gorgeous linen fabric. This colour is like a teal, a light teal.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's beautiful colour.
Oh, it is 100% linen. Now, it's enzyme washed, and I know what that means now. Yes. So it means that it's washed and it makes it soft. So whatever the enzyme they use, it softens the linen and makes it drape and is very soft. It's much, sometimes when you buy linen, has quite a crisp feel when you first use it, but this is soft and it's the enzymes washed in it that does that, which means apparently you don't need to pre-wash it. But it's a beautiful teal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I love it, that colour.
Love for your larger size. £35.99, so this is 100% linen, but it won't crease or be as stiff as a normal linen because of the washing process. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Very classy. Now we've got exactly the same fabric in a... Oh, it's so hard to describe these colours. It's called grey. I would say... Well, it's more of a... It is grey.
It's hard to describe that one, isn't it?
What does it look like? I don't know. Mouse. It looks like a mouse because it's a browny grey, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got that slight brown tinge.
Yeah.
Only very slightly.
Very, very slight. So it's a...
Yeah, I think mouse is a good description.
It's like a browny pinky grey. If it was a paint, it would be called mouse.
Yeah.
Dormouse. But it has got more of a pinky browny undertone rather than a blacky undertone. Really, but a beautiful, beautiful neutral shade. And then very finally is your sort of vintage dusky rose pink. I can describe that one. Gorgeous, that one. It's called lavender. It's not lavender at all. That is not, I've never seen.
Vintage dusty rose pink.
This, though, that kind of pinky dusky. It's not lavender at all. Why is it called lavender? Maybe there is a breed or a species of lavender that's that colour, but it's not. It's a dusky rose. Anyway, those 3 are the linen, so you just got to choose between the linen and the denim. £35.99, 3.5 metres. That's enough for the largest size, which is the size 20. Right. And you might need interface. Do you need interfacing?
Yeah, only for the facing on the top. So you don't. If you buy one of these, you'll have some left for another project, which is great.
So if you don't have any interfacing, do get some, but you won't need much. No, that's it really.
Yeah.
And there's no fastenings?
There's no fastenings in it, which
Even
makes
better.
this pattern perfect for anybody that's just breaking into dressmaking or is, you know, a competent beginner to intermediate.
Right, okay.
I mean, even if you're advanced, you know, it's a lovely pattern
Just
to
a nice,
sew.
yeah.
Sometimes you just want that pattern that's a nice sew. And
I'm all up for that.
Yeah.
Because you just think, yeah, I could make that. I could make that in a weekend.
Yeah.
Nice. I love that pattern.
I made both of these in the same day, and I
did
really, really enjoyed doing both of them. You know, and the gap.
Although you are a bit more of an expert, to be fair.
Well, sometimes I won't go that far. Sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, what am I doing here? We all make mistakes.
Well, yes.
The thing is, there's not many mistakes to be made in this one, really.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you've not got, like you say, any zips or fastenings
No.
that can be a bit tricky.
But that makes it so much easier, doesn't it? And it's easier to wear as well.
Yeah, and it's described as being a kind of oversized fit almost, or a relaxed fit, sorry. And what you were saying earlier on about having the turtleneck underneath, like a nice turtleneck jumper would be lovely under it. Or...
I mean, even if it was just like a thin cotton one, I've got a few that are knitted, but they're very fine because you don't want to add the bulk.
Yeah.
But, you know, either a polo neck or a turtleneck would look lovely with that.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see this matching a lot of things in my wardrobe.
I know, when we come in, you say, I love that.
Oh, I love that,
one.
I know, I love that. But I love this colour. So where do you start?
do.
Obviously, any tips for cutting out in particular?
Yeah, so very simple to cut out this one. We've got a front bodice and a back bodice, so that makes the top. It's almost got that kind of grown-on sleeve effect. It's not quite
I
a
wondered
sleeve,
if there was a name for that.
Yeah, it would be if it was a bit longer, a grown-on sleeve, wouldn't it? But, you know, it's capped a little bit short to give that lovely shape and to really emulate that relaxed fit. And then you've got the facings for the back and the front, and you need to just cut some interfacing and fuse those on. Now I've got another tip for you, Rebecca.
Oh, I'd love a tip. Go on, give me another one.
Right, and I've gone wrong in the past with this. When you're applying your interfacing, don't use any steam.
Okay.
Because if you use steam, it's going to absolutely kill the glue. It's not going to work. Like if you use a dry iron, no moisture, you're not going to get any bubbles and you're going to get it adhered nicely. So
that's good
my
actually, because
tip.
I do love a bit of steam.
I know, well, I get
steam
there's that
everything.
steam button on the iron and I'm like, oh yes.
I know,
and I
love
feel like
that.
I'm coming out on stars in your eyes.
And people say, don't steam it. I think, no, I'm sorry, I can't not. Or you'll ruin the bias, I don't care. But with interfacing then, no steam.
No steam.
What does it do then? Does it like...
The steam adds moisture to the glue, so you're adding another element to it that it doesn't need.
Right.
You just need to apply the heat. So it's got tiny little bits of glue on the interface.
Okay.
And just the heat alone will melt that glue just enough to adhere it to the fabric.
Right, no steam.
So
People
no
like me
steam.
who love a bit of steam.
But we're going to be
on
on steam today. We're going to steam away with this one. Right, so front bodice and back bodice. So you want to place the right sides together.
Oh, and of course they're both whole pieces, aren't they?
They are both whole pieces. And now you'll know the front from the back as I'm layering these on, because the front neck scoops lower than the back neck. Okay, and you're going to match your seams. Now this linen, it is lovely and soft. It's sturdier than the viscose that we were sewing with in the chalice earlier on before. So just a couple of pins in the shoulder seams there.
This would be nice for a bit of colour blocking as well, wouldn't it?
Do you know what? As you were showing those different tones of denim,
I know.
my mind's racing. I was like, you could use all three of those and graduate. I'd have some fun doing that. There's only the one tier on this, a front, and it's comprised of a front and a back. But again, you know, if you wanted
just
to
cut your pattern across,
you know.
But even if you had like the light, the medium, and the dark, or you know, the light and the medium.
Exactly. I'm just going to make sure I'm playing pedal roulette today because I've got about 3 pedals down here. I've got the right one.
Oh well, one of them is up on the machine.
Well, I wanted to try and show a bit of overlocking. So I've got the overlocker pedal down there. That's all right. Oh, it keeps me on my toes, doesn't it? Right, so again, a centimetre seam allowance for all of these. Back tack at the beginning. Just using a standard stitch length on this, it's 2.4, a 2.5 will be fine. Tensions at 4. Not sewing over my pins because I'm being...
Yeah, being good.
I'm being good.
Well. I find that really hard. Although you have a ping thing, but I always put them in my mouth. One day I'm going to sneeze and swallow the whole lot, but it's never happened yet. You should admit to that, really, because you're not supposed to do that, are you? But I do. Put them in my mouth.
Oh, yeah, well, I do. Yeah, you
shouldn't. And then, can you imagine sneezing? It's going to happen one day, isn't it?
Oh, don't tempt fate. Well, it's usually when I'm working at home, and especially if I'm working quite quickly, I do like to be nice and organised, but sometimes I'm like, where's a pin? And I'm chucking them everywhere. You know, I'm taking them out, chucking them off.
And then I've got my pin boxes on the ironing boards, and I haven't brought it over to the sewing machine, so I have to put them all in my mouth. And
I end up with everything everywhere like that.
But
and then
we don't do that. That's a really bad thing to do.
And then I'm usually like, where's my scissors? And I've got umpteen pairs of scissors. And it's like, where have I put those? Right, so that is the shoulder seams at 1 centimetre done. Now we've got this curve here for the underarm onto that little bit of a grown sleeve
Oh, that
there.
little bit, yeah.
So we're just going to match up. A little tip again is match up, when you're matching up a seam, like pin the beginning, pin the end, and then work the fabric in between so that you know you're absolutely right. And there's a little bit of ease there as well. And I'm going to show you how to overlock this seam, hopefully. So you can see how that's done. Because it is a curve, we'll be clipping into that curve just to give that ease that's required.
Yeah, so it lies nice and flat.
Yeah, exactly. When we're dressmaking and sewing, a lot of the time we have to reduce the bulk, and that's what keeps everything neat and tidy. Just going around that curve there, nice and slowly. There's a temptation when you get on the machine, especially if you've got a fast machine, to just whiz through it all.
I know.
And I do it sometimes, but you know, there's something to be said about just taking your time, nice and slowly, and you'll get the job done.
Well, there's not that many seams in this, are there? So
no, there's really not, to be fair. So, you know, it's nice, take it leisurely. And I was watching something the other day, and this lady was speaking about mindfulness and sewing, and I think there's really something to be said about that.
Yeah.
Because, well, you know, I've sewn under pressure a few times.
Well, yeah, I don't suppose that was very mindful.
But sewing these 2 dresses really brought that back for me.
Oh, good.
It was just nice to just sit, relax, enjoy it, cut it out, have a cup of tea, and then carry on.
I think I can imagine, on the sewing bee, it must have been very, very stressful, not very mindful at all.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you can do things at leisure and do it because you enjoy the process, because it's not just about the finished make, is it?
No.
Although I don't think any of us would sew if it was just about the finished make.
No, there's something to be said about really enjoying the process and enjoying, you know, a nice seam that you've sewn. I mean, I've got to that sad part now where I'm like, oh, I've done that lovely.
Oh, I've done that. Oh, I know exactly, though, but it's
Look
like
at the
a pleasure.
hem on that.
Or when you sew something and it meets up beautifully, or you've got a seam that joins.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so nice, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's absolutely fantastic. Right, so I've already overlocked these at home. I've kind of prepared it. Now,
we've got a message
I've
for
done
you.
it
One
before.
moment.
What we got?
Lovely to see Adam again. Very informative. As I'm an adventurous beginner in dressing, he has given me confidence to give it a go.
Well, that's just fab.
That's what you're here for.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
exactly.
You've done your job.
That's fabulous.
Tick the box.
Honestly, like, to encourage anybody to start sewing is just fantastic. And I know more and more people have. I know we've had the lockdown and people, you know, really found it. But people that are continuing to do it, or, you know, finding a passion in it. So I'm glad that you're sewing.
Yeah, well done. Well, you've got to start with something, haven't you? And I think with a dress like this, where the fit isn't so crucial.
Exactly.
Get your confidence from something like this.
This is it, exactly. Go for it. And talking of going for it, I've just pinned what would be the shoulder seam on the facing. All right, and you can see from that facing that there is a very clear back and the front. The back's higher than the front scoop there. So we're just going to sew those together. Even though, again, it's a short seam, I've put my pins in.
Good. So Jeanette has asked, is the denim stretchy? But it isn't, is it?
No.
No. I'm just giving it a stretch. No.
There's no stretch in that.
There's no stretch in the denim.
To be honest, you don't want the stretch in it, because when it comes to the gathering, I mean, that weight is just perfect for that dress.
Yeah, it is.
The way those gathers just work there is fantastic. It is a lovely weight. But this linen is really nice, again, to work with.
Well, that's because it's enzyme washed, isn't it?
Wow, you've taught me something.
Well, only
today,
because
Rebecca.
we had it in another Sussex Seamstress dress, and I thought, what is that? So I read about it.
That's it, exactly. Now, once you've done that bit, you'll press your seams open. But I think before I go on to attaching the facing, I'm going to overlock these raw edges. So I'm going to show us a bit of overlocking, if that's all right.
Love a bit of overlocking.
Yeah. Now, I know
exciting.
not everybody has an overlocker, so if you haven't got one, then again, zigzag, pink it, whatever floats your boat, it'll get the job done. Or use an overcasting foot.
Yes, or whatever you've got. But if you have got an overlocker, or you're thinking about buying one, then you need to watch this. The graphic that's in the screen at the moment is the teal, which is the fabric that Adam is using for the current demo. That bundle, 3.5 metres, is enough to make the largest size, which is size 20 for this one. So you've pre-threaded your overlocker then?
Yes, it's all pre-threaded, and we've got a lovely rainbow of colours on, so you can kind of see.
Yeah,
each of
really
these
useful.
threads has a different job. This is a 4-thread overlock.
Right.
So you've got 2 threads, and as you look at the overlocker there on the right hand side, they're what are called the loopers, and they form the loop stitch and finish the edge. And then you've got the 2 needles which are doing the stitching and holding those loops in place. And you can actually create seams with a 4-thread overlock depending on the fabric and how sturdy you need the seam to be.
So this is really, you're using this to finish the raw edges,
Yes.
not to actually seam.
That's it. Although, you know, I have made garments where I've just purely overlocked it. But again, it depends. But it's used mainly as a finishing tool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just show you quickly how to overlock these. Now, you could overlock them together, but I'm going to show you how it was wonderfully demonstrated on Sussex Seamstress's YouTube video for this dress. So we're going to just overlock each individual thing so that they can lie flat again, so we're not creating bulk. So I'm just going to put it under the overlocker. Have I got the right pedal? I told you I was playing pedal
So
roulette.
that's the graphic on screen. That is the overlocker that Adam is using at the moment. £849, available on 3 split pays. Is that 3 or 5? I've got my glasses on.
Okay.
3. 3 payments of £169.80. That's interest free, that you don't have to pay any extra, and it's up to you, you can pay for it all in one go. But if you want to make it, spread it across, you will be sent the overlocker straight away, and then the payments will be taken out every month for 3 months. But that's the one that Adam's using at the moment. So, you know, if you're into dressmaking, you like dressmaking, this does make things easier, doesn't it?
It does, and it just finishes them off perfectly. Again, I was telling John last time that I had an overlocker for my 14th birthday.
No.
Yeah, it was what I asked for Christmas, and my mum hadn't got a clue what one was.
My son had a chainsaw for his 14th birthday.
A chainsaw.
I know.
Just for speed and quick, I'm going to overlock these together. All right.
Okay, so would you normally do that?
You could. The thing is, you could overlock the pieces beforehand.
Yes.
But in doing so, the overlocker cuts some fabric off.
Oh, so that'd be really hard to...
You're going into your seam allowance then, and then that's going to affect the fit at the end.
Right.
So I'd overlock as you go. I'm overlocking now both layers together, and it's just keeping them together. And I'm hardly trimming anything off it, to be fair. I'm just using the overlocker foot as a guide. And just make sure.
I like the different colour.
Yeah.
That makes it look very designer, doesn't it?
It does,
actually, I know it's on the
doesn't it?
inside, but actually, if that was really that you've probably added another 50 quid to the value of that dress.
Probably. I've seen all of these kind of rainbow overlocking threads before. Now, technically what you should do is leave a tail on the end, and then with a tapestry needle, thread that tail into the overlocking, all right? Because these seams are going to be joined and hemmed in some way, they're going to be encapsulated anyway, so it's not the end of the world if you don't do that.
Okay.
But again, just to be aware of it. So yeah, it does trim off some of it, so you've got to be careful and accurate and find a point of reference on the overlocker using the foot as a guide. So make sure you're just trimming off and not going into the beautiful seam that you've already stitched.
Oh, that makes life so much easier. So does this overlocker seam as well as overlock?
Yeah, so you could seam with this. A lot of them, I'm not sure whether this one does, but you can do what's called a rolled hem on it.
Oh,
and you can drop the blade so it doesn't cut, and you can do nice rolled hems and all sorts. They're a really versatile tool. And as I say, the more I've got into dressmaking, the more I've realised that it's important on the inside as well as the outside. In fact, the inside has become more important to me now, to make sure that everything's finished off beautifully. And if you're getting to that stage, then I'd really suggest investing in more.
Well, I just love that. I mean, I think that looks really lovely, doesn't it? And you just, you can machine zigzag. It doesn't quite the same, is it? Not quite the same as that.
Zigzag, it's going to do the job to an extent. it's going to stop it fraying, which is one of the main reasons why we overlock, because we want them finished off nicely. But at the same time, yeah, it does give that more professional finish, I suppose, which is all I knew before I got an overlocker, is that it gives a more professional finish, so I want one.
And this one is the air threading one, which we talked about earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because the thing that puts a lot of people off overlockers is threading them up, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But this just...
That's it. It does it for you.
Sort of does it for you.
Yeah. And what I would suggest, if you don't have an air threader, or even with this one, when you first use it, use different colours on the and you'll then, as you look at the stitches, you'll be able to see where the looper thread is, where the needle threads are, and that will tell you, and it will inform you better of what the machine is actually doing.
Wow.
Right, what I've done here is I've clipped into that seam, can you see?
Oh, and that's the underarm
The underarm seam, so I can straighten it out like that and give that ease. And I'm going to put it through the overlocker like that.
Oh.
Right? I'm not going to try and curve it. I want to keep that ease, so when the garment is worn, that we have that movement. So I've clipped into it, into the curve, and we're going to put it through the overlocker straight like that. So let's give it a whirl.
That's great, because you wouldn't be able to do that in another way, would you? You need the overlocker to finish a clip seam.
That's it, exactly. I'm just going to put it through nice and straight, trimming a little bit off.
So the bundle that this sample is made in, which is this lovely dark denim, has now sold out.
Ooh.
But the other two denims are available, the medium one and the light one, which are, this is the medium one and that's the light one. But the dark one has now sold out. And over half the pattern is gone, which I'm not surprised about. Can you please leave one for me? Because I'm trying to decide what I'm going to make mine from, though.
I want to make a tonal denim one now.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. But you know, well, many of the things I collect is old jeans.
Yeah.
The only problem is, I think the jeans might be a bit too thick for the...
It would be, yeah.
So I've got to think about that.
But I love any recycled project from old jeans.
But I could do the bodice. In old jeans, because I make lots of things from like bags and purses and stuff. I'm always making things from really good for wash bags.
I mean, if you really wanted to go for it, you could have some real fun with the bodice and make it as simple or as complex as you wanted. You know, you could perhaps think about using a different fabric or overlaying it, or maybe patchworking.
Yeah, denim patchwork would be brilliant, and then just go with the simple,
wouldn't it?
It would be fab. Right, you have only got 10 minutes left.
That has flown by.
How's that happened? But I'm loving the contrast. That's what I would do with an overlocker. I would contrast because it looks fab.
Yes. Right, I'm going to get the sewing machine back. So I've just finished those off, and I'm going to show you how to put the facing in, because this is perhaps the trickiest part, but there's some technique in it in terms of understitching, which I'd really like to show.
A quick machine swap over.
A quick machine swap. Here we go. There we are. Put it on the.
So I'm just, while Adam does that, the pattern itself. Right, when everybody has checked out of the patterns that they put in the basket, there are only 10 left. So if you want one, you really need to put in your basket, but please check out as well. So the pattern contains all the pieces you need to make it, and really nice thick paper as well, which means that you can make it more than once. The size range is size 8 to 20, but it also gives you the bust, waist and hips measurement, so that you can measure yourself to see which size you are. The only other things you need for this are interfacing and thread. No fixings, no nothing. Oh, fabric, quite useful. You will need fabric as well. Right, Adam, we'll go through the fabrics in a moment, but if you want to see the fabrics that we've got available, then they are all on the website just below where we're watching, and we'll show you at the end. So the facing.
The facing, right, okay. So you want to be matching up right sides together. Your shoulder seams first, okay? So just stick a pin in there. Now, because I've neatly overlocked those, here's another tip for you, right? So I've overlocked them together. If I let one of the seam allowance go one way and the other seam allowance go the other way, what that's going to do is reduce the bulk, okay?
Nice.
So again, it's just paying attention to which way those seam allowances sit.
Yeah, like you do in patchwork, nesting.
Is that what it's called?
It's a thing. Press your seams in opposite directions and nest the seams.
There you go.
It's one of those standard.
And what I do is I just mirror it, what I've done on one side, on the other side.
And I guess because you've overlocked together, then that works. But a lot in patchwork, a lot of patchworkers press seams to one side in the same way as you've overlocked together.
Yeah.
Because it sits better.
Yeah, and that's exactly
Yeah,
it.
same thing, isn't it?
All right, so we can already see that sitting in nicely there. Now, if you wanted to, you could mark the centre of the front bodice, back bodice, and the facing, so you can match up with a notch
exactly
there.
right.
And
It's
again,
quite
I'm
nice
just
with the
going
facing,
to.
that contrast, isn't it?
It's really, really a nice little detail and a really useful dressmaking technique because you'll use this time and time again.
So match the seams and match the centres.
Yeah, match the seams, match the centres. I can see where my centre is on the bodice because they were cut on fold pieces, so I've still got a crease down there. And again, that's another tip. If you're cutting on the fold, leave the crease in until you finish the garment. You know where your centre
And there's,
is.
oh yeah, so much easier.
So there you go.
So over half the pattern has sold now. We don't have that many left. So if you've got it in your basket, you probably need to check out. Gorgeous pattern.
So we're going to sew round now at a centimetre seam allowance. Okay. And I'm going to try again not to sew over my pins. Now we are sewing in a circle at this point. So again, just take your time. There's no rush. Although there is for me because we've only got less than 10 minutes
now.
now.
There's no rush at home, but for Adam, he's got his really, really, really fast.
Okay, I just want to get onto the understitch part so you can see that because again, it's a fundamental. And then with the skirt part itself, it's made from 2 panels. The panels are quite big, so if you are a rotary cutter on a, not an actual rotary cutter.
If you are actually a
if you cut with a rotary
a rotary
cutter,
cutting person.
a rotary cutting person, then you might have to revert to scissors for that part.
Fair enough.
And get a nice big work surface for that.
It's asking for a pocket though, isn't it? Inseam pocket, side seam.
Oh, that would be lovely,
Needs a pocket.
wouldn't it?
I know, I love a pocket.
Oh.
And then you can put something really cool inside it.
Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, pockets, definitely.
But you can have quite a nice... That's what I love with the pocket, where you can get, they use these really oddments of really bright, fun fabrics for your pocket.
A flash of like a quirky lining or something. Or, yeah, no, I love all of that. You could go all out and bind them.
Yeah.
This started out a simple dress.
Yeah, but now we've now got pocket. We've made the bodice has become patchwork, and we're having pockets as well.
But that just shows the flexibility of the pattern as well, so credit to our very own Sussex Seamstress.
Well, that's it, and I think once you've got the pattern and you've worked out how it works, it's yours.
That's it, exactly.
I always think like the second time you use it's free.
Yeah, well it is, isn't it?
Free.
I always trace my patterns off as well. It takes a bit more time.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Not all the time. That's a good,
I know, but I guess it will, particularly if you're making them for other people.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. I'm far too lazy. Don't like pre-washing fabrics. Couldn't be bothered to trace them out. It's bad enough having to do a notch, to be honest.
Right, I'm just clipping again into those curves on this neckline again, just so it eases quite nicely. And then we're going to do something that is called understitching. I think some people call it edge stitching, but basically the job of that is to keep the facing to the inside.
Yeah, because that always looks a bit rubbish, doesn't it, when the facing keeps popping out?
Yeah. So you can see at the moment it's falling to the outside of the dress. This now needs to tuck inside and stay inside.
Right.
So what we're going to do, we're going to go from a shoulder seam. Always start from a seam, whether that's the back seam or a shoulder seam when you're sewing. We're going to keep the seam allowance towards that part of the machine, all right? So the seam allowance is laying to my right and is directly underneath the facing.
Yes, got it. So you have to keep checking that then?
Yes, you do. It's really important that you keep checking that. And then we're just going to line up. Right, and just to line up as well, just put your needle in. You're going to sew as close to the inside edge on the facing as possible, catching that seam allowance underneath, all right? And you'll see the result of this in a moment. No, encourage it through. I'm just going to do a back stitch. Now what you could do, it's like with top stitching, and I tend to do this. It's not going to be a visible stitch, but I just lengthen the stitch a little bit.
Oh, okay.
For me, it just it gives it a nicer appearance. So I'm just making
Well, I guess
sure.
like a top stitch, you do that, don't you?
Yeah.
So,
So I always figure, well, why not, even if it's not going to be seen?
yeah, I'm definitely going to watch this back when I make mine. Because I'm going to remember these things. Now, what did he say about the seam length?
So again, as I'm going round, I'm just making sure that clipped seam allowance is lying flat towards the right, towards the facing itself. And we're just sewing around nice and neatly. And again, take your time with this. Again, what's nice to kind of do is set it up, pin it all together, baste it if you need to, go and have a cuppa, and then come back and enjoy sewing this bit. Because this is what gives the pleasing result in the end.
Yeah, I think it's when you're in a bit of a rush or time pressure, that's when it goes wrong, isn't it? So you need to sort of...
Exactly. And you don't want that, you know, so... Good. So we're just
Right, while you're going around that, I'm just going to go through the fabric bundles. So the bundle that Adam's actually using at the moment is this gorgeous teal enzyme wash linen, which means it's softer than normal linen. There's 3.5 meters in the bundle, $35.99, which is enough for the largest size, which is size 20. Now there are more people that have this bundle in the baskets than we have available. So if you've got it in your basket, you need to check out, otherwise it will be taken out of your basket. Beautiful colour though, isn't it? Kind of like complements everybody. Then the other colour we have in the enzyme washed is silver dormouse grey, because it's like a grey but a beigey pinky grey. It's definitely not a rat grey, because rats are sort of more charcoaly colour. I nearly ran over a rat this morning when I was driving. Shot across in front, and that was I thought I was killed it. It would have made a big bump, wouldn't it? But it wasn't that colour. This is more dormouse grey. Yes, this is lovely. Talk about killing rats. It must have been a big rat to have seen it. And then this beautiful one that's called lavender, but really isn't. It's a dusky vintage rose colour. Absolutely love this. And if you ever thought about doing a bit of colour blocking, don't they go together nicely?
Yes.
Those bodice. So when you check out, remember these bundles are separately. When everyone has checked out, we are on single figures of those. And then if you want denim, we have 2 colours left. We have the medium denim, which is traditional, just what you think of like your Levi 501s. There are other jeans available, but that sort of colour. On the website, they do look quite similar, but this medium blue is the colour of the jeans that Adam's wearing, actually, isn't it? It's that traditional blue. Look.
I don't know what that was.
That was a beautiful jeans shot. And there's only one of these bundles remaining since Adam did that little move. He was just showing us
I'll
his
give
jeans.
you a
It was
laugh,
great.
if nothing else.
Well, you see, my pinafore is more that darker, but you're more traditional.
It is, yeah.
And then the other one is the light denim, which is beautiful. It makes it, I think of it as like forget-me-not blue. It's very pretty blue. Single figures for this one, but $23.99, bargain. 3.5 meters, enough for a size 20. So if you're a size 8, you're going to have loads left over.
That's what I mean. And again, you could use it for some patchwork.
Yeah, use it for
project,
also make yourself
something
matching
else.
things. But if you just want 3.5 meters, that's a really good amount of fabric, because it's 1.5 meters wide for lots of you making a dress. So you can just buy it on its own. The pattern, very, very, very limited. The Sussex Seamstress Amberley dress pattern. There are more people than have this in the basket than are available. So it's if in your basket and you want it, you need to check out. But you can check out as many times as you want between now and midnight. It still will only be $3.95 P&P. So please do check out. Right, Adam, so you have understitched. You're going to show us.
Yes, let me show you
Show
that
me
bit.
your understitch.
So what I've done is obviously understitched it. I've just quickly pressed it under.
Oh, can we get a close-up of that understitching, Bob?
So you can see you've got that nice overlocked finish, because that is sitting on the inside of the garment.
Very nice.
And then the understitching there, and that just means that when the facing is pressed in, look how nicely that sits, look, it just sits now. Whereas before it was flapping outside the garment.
It's beautiful, and there's no stitching.
Yeah,
so it looks
not
really
visible.
professional.
It is. That's such a fundamental but professional technique that actually isn't too taxing. It isn't too difficult to do. It's achievable. So go for it. Do a bit of understitching. I love it.
Well, thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
That was wonderful. We've learned so much from you. Really lovely. Thank you for doing the overlocker. I would have felt a little bit intimidated by that, but really nice to see, and what a lovely job. So I'm sure all of you have been really inspired by that. If you've bought the pattern or the any of the fabric and it's in your basket, you need to check out. But remember to write down today's date. So when you get it home, watch Adam's demo back. As you see, you might forget them. He's got so many tips. So many tips. And message us in. Send us photos of your dress when you finish them.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a couple of things I need to recap on. The 570A sewing machine, the one that I was using today, it's a fantastic machine. It's only back in stock a couple of days ago, and you have been waiting for it. The quarter of the stock went on the first day that we had it in. £599, but it is available on split pay, 3 equal payments of £199.66. Now, that will be, the first payment will be taken out of your account and then it will send straight to you. That's completely interest free, which is wonderful, but it is a great machine. It will take you from beginning all the way through your sewing career, because it's Elna, it's great quality, and it has all the stitches you need. It's a beautiful machine. Don't forget, we also have the overlocker, which Adam was demonstrating earlier. That again is available on split pay. If you click on Watch Live, you'll see it there. There we are, 849. That is the Elna overlocker. Wonderful thing. And don't forget the split pay. Now, coming up, thank you for joining me today on Sewing Street. We are about to move into Yarn Lane, so don't go anywhere. But tomorrow on Sewing with Street, we have with you at 8 o'clock Anna Maria Fabrics, Love Always Fabric Launch. If you love Anna Maria Fabrics, or you love bright fabrics and haven't seen Anna Maria, you're going to love these. At 9 o'clock, we've got the Lou Orth Ripple Quilt. That's a lovely quilt. That'll be gorgeous. 10 o'clock, back in stock, quilting supplies. Obviously got a lot being out of stock. I wonder what those are. 11 o'clock, we have Oh So Beautiful embroidery kits. Oh, if you've seen any of these kits before, you will have loved them. They are gorgeous. And at 12 o'clock, pre-cuts and panels, because why not? We all love a pre-cut and panel. Lots of you have met the Snowman. I've met Sydney and Sylvie and Sam. There are still a few left. If you want one, £19.99 for the kit, which includes the instructions, the fabric panel and the pin badge. There are a few of those left if you still want one. If it's in your basket, please do remember to check out. Coming up next, we have Yarn Lane. So if you love knitting and crochet, Yarn Lane is for you. Today, we have got Sam Sabido, who is going to be demonstrating the last in her series of crochet wreaths. If you haven't seen them before, don't worry. We have all of the kits and a special bundle too. Thank you for joining us today on Sewing Street and for spending time with Adam and I. We've had a wonderful time, and I will see you back here in just a few minutes' time on Yarn Lane. Thank you.